Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the sex, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. The Shizzy and Jaggle beat. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah, Nicky's. Yeah, OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Ordinal's the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We are live for another OnChain hour, and this one is going to be absolutely amazing because I just think we have so many bullish topics to talk about today, especially in the Bitcoin ecosystem with runes and what Udi is doing with Odin. We're going to talk about that. We're going to dig deep into that. It's going to be fun, guys. But guys, there's always a bull run somewhere. You can always find a place to put your money to make it, right? It's hard. It's not easy. But we think, well, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but I think personally that, Odin probably is going to have a lot of catalysts in the next couple months. So we're going to be digging into that a lot, just for the fact that there's really not much else going on until Bitcoin can finally set its feet and kind of really move on. If you don't know what Odin is a runes type of protocol on ICP. Well, it's using ICP's backend. It's really on Valhalla. We had a whole thing with Bob a few weeks ago. If you want to go back and watch that one, it's a great video. But we also got some crypto topics. Ethereum's upgrade just hit a new testnet. And a bunch of other things too. Solana we got some good news on Solana today, which is really weird, especially lately. But we have a great show for you guys, and it's Friday, right? So it's time to get hype. And without further ado, let's bring my partner here, as always, Mr. Yago B. What's up, buddy?
What up?
What's up, man? So the news today with Odin, I think, is absolutely huge. I mean, it is Udi. He's already in the Bitcoin ecosystem, so it's not like anything different. But he's a runes hater. But now he seems to be a runes investor. What do you think about this?
Well, I was talking to you pre-show when we were preparing, and I said it seems that Udi is very calculated with all his actions, right? So, for example, 1 week he might FUD runes and Bitcoin layer 2s and these almost kind of like trusted execution environments, and then today the announcement, like three weeks later, is that Taproot Wizards are investing into this platform. So what happens there, right? It's almost kind of like, okay, well, is it very calculated from that point 3 weeks ago, or did over the last 2 weeks he noticed that the adoption was there as a right product market fit, and that's why they're doing this. So it's really interesting to kind of try to peel back the layers here, but it is a big news event in general for the Bitcoin ecosystem, because it could really inject some energy heading into the weekend. And like you said, there's probably going to be multiple catalysts for Odin and different parts of the Bitcoin ecosystem. So this is an exciting thing.
What do you think is going in through Udi's head with this? Because obviously, he has investors. He's sitting on a lot of money right now too. Right, he needs to kind of put somewhere to make money, because he's a Bitcoiner, right? Because he can hold Bitcoin, but at the end of the day, he wants to grow his business, and Bitcoin's going to go up. It's going to go up a couple 100%, but he needs to 10, 20, 30, 100x his investments that kind of help his shareholders and stuff like that. But what do you think is going through his mind with Odin? Why do you think he's making this decision now? And then we'll kind of get into the article.
I think that is exactly what I said, right? He sees that there's a certain level of adoption energy here, and he's made a calculated decision to do this, right? So I think that's pretty bullish in terms of where, if you're an Odin person, where Odin is currently. Will it bring on more adoption? I think so. Udi is a influential person. He has a large account. He's followed by different people in different parts of the crypto ecosystem. So we're going to see, though, over this weekend, early next week, how much of an effect this has.
Yeah, I get that. Like, he's bullish on Odin, but like why? Like, why is he bullish on? Like, what? Like, he hates runes. He's an Ordinal guy. He was a Bitcoin maxi for a long time. Like, why is he coming in right now and kind of picking the winner of Odin? It can't just be like, oh yeah, it's a fun platform. There has to be more involved for someone like Udi to really be participating.
He's seeing the energy, right? He's seeing the energy, and so for him, that was a catalyst to make him say, okay, I'm going to do, we move forward with this, basically.
Yeah. All right, let's kind of get into the article here. All right, so this is an article from Udi. It's a tweet, but I mean, it's hard to call this a tweet, right? Because it's long. It's basically an article. But he said, breaking Taproot Wizards leads a strategic investment round in the Odin Fund. Today, we're honored to announce that we're able to invest in and support Odin Fund, the leading and fastest growing trading platform for Bitcoin-based assets. We've known Odin's co-founder, Bob Wiley, for 2 years. He's been building in crypto and in Bitcoin for a long time and always puts his users first. We are big fans. When Bob launched the closed beta in January, he invited us to try it. The very next day, I asked him to let us lead the round. It was that good. Since then, we're thrilled to see Odin growing like crazy and attracting to many Bitcoin enjoyers. That was the thing I like there, because he is right. It is a lot of Bitcoin enjoyers immediately going there. I can't imagine anyone who didn't participate in BRC20s and runes actually playing an Odin. Do you see anybody potentially not from our ecosystem over there?
Yeah, eventually. If you have to think about this. Like, whenever ordinals were hot, initially people were like wary of it, right? From different ecosystems. Eventually they saw the momentum picking up, and then you saw a lot of Solana people and ETH people come over, start launching their own token or their own collections, and then participating, and then ordinals became really robust. Something similar could happen here, but it has to be attractive enough. There has to be like an angle to it to where it's not just a running pump fund back, I don't think, but Ordinals, in a sense, was running back NFTs on ETH, but in a different, like, you Inscribe lives on Bitcoin. So they got to find some narratives, I think, here that can really attract the people from the different ecosystems.
Yeah, 100%. Keep going here. He said, internally at Taproot Wizards, we felt for a long time that trading experience for Bitcoin-based assets is not good enough. There have been many sketches and prototypes of better approaches thrown around in our internal chat rooms. Maybe some versions of that will see the light of day sometime in the future, but that's a story for another day. So this is a big paragraph, in my opinion. Udi has plans, in my opinion. These aren't just chat rooms. These are, this is his team, right? I feel like they have a lot with going on. We do know Catnip. We do know potentially his version of Cat 20s and stuff like that. But we need OpCat for that. But do you think Udi has any intention of building on Valhalla?
Possibly. Maybe he starts there. Right. Maybe he starts there, and then eventually, if they get what they want in terms of upgrading, adding OpCat, then they can really kind of solidify what their original vision was. But what this can do is, and you made a good point. Basically, the investors are probably like, hey, you know, we got to have something for this year, this cycle, this quarter, and so maybe that's why he's kind of piling on here. But it makes sense. You got to remember, look, there's certain like things you can agree or disagree with fundamentally from foundation, crypto layer, native layer, all this stuff. But you also have to remember a lot of these organizations and entities are businesses, and they have to be able to stay afloat and see some sort of return from their investors, or their investors are never going to invest in them again.
Yeah, 100%. And it does look like a lot of the investors are going to be getting these wizards, right? These Bitcoin wizards that drop them. So, but Udi is also going to be handed probably another, I don't know the amount, I'm just guessing here, but like 30 to 50 million dollars in Bitcoin for this collection. And again, it's like, where are you going to put that money? I mean, obviously you can leave it in Bitcoin, but as a company, right, you need because this is something, honestly, it's probably going to sound nuts to say it right now, but Taproot Wizards could go public one day, right? As this if they just keep building and let's just say their chain goes live and they're building something on Violet, it could one day be a huge Bitcoin company in the
I agree.
sense of that. So I mean, I believe in what Udi and Eric Wall. I mean, I think those guys are eventually going to build something special, and potentially down the line, but they are going to need some assets to kind of build with. And being hands-on with Odin could really give him the opportunity to be one of the first builders on Valhalla, which I think is absolutely huge.
Yeah, that could be really big, but you have to also remember too, like in the early internet days, and I bring this up a lot because there's the comparison is just there. In those early days, some people, like companies and small companies that were coming up, they were building, but they were also trying to figure out like what they were going to deliver. They were knowledgeable in the space. They were like, developers or stuff, in those days. And that's kind of where we are. I feel like, so Taproot Wizards could look completely different in like 5-10 years, with multiple products. They could be known for like some sort of software as a service in the crypto space, or some sort of B2B type thing. We're going to probably see a lot of that. So I agree with you. Taproot Wizards could be a big company in the future.
100%. The next thing here is Bob and Odin simply implemented the whole thing. It works seamless and it's fun, and the Bitcoin degens love it. We believe it's the best app currently in the Bitcoin Season 2 ecosystem, so supporting it was a no-brainer. What would you say are the biggest dApps in the Bitcoin Season 2 ecosystem? I thought about this a little bit. I think, obviously Odin's definitely one of them, right? And then you probably have Liquidium, right? Absolutely amazing borrowing and lending. Fluid, I definitely throw in the top 5. But what other dApps would you throw in there with Odin and Liquidium?
So I think there's different familiar people are different parts of the ecosystem are familiar with different dApps, right? For example, like the Bitcoin layer 2s, which some people see as more of like it's the EVM tech stack, right? So stuff like Surf is being highly used on Merlin chain. But like in terms of native Bitcoin, it's going to be Fluid, it's going to be Liquidium, it's going to be those type of things, and you really are kind of limited to like the borrowing and lending approach or the staking using the time lock approach with Bitcoin and Bitcoin blocks, and so outside of that, they call this a dApp in the Bitcoin ecosystem because it's not like it's chain or anything yet, right? It's not branded that way. It literally is kind of branded as like this pump fund dApp, and so I think that's why they're throwing this in there. But I feel like it doesn't really belong in that same category as like Liquidium and Fluid. But again, I'm all for kind of getting all these clumped together. You know what I mean? So eventually, you're going to talk about Bitcoin ecosystem dApps like Fluid, like Surf protocol, like was it Artura, stuff like that, that's going to come out and be more branded later. But right now I would say this has got the limelight for sure.
100%. All right, Bob and Odin simply went. Okay, the next one is, of course, Odin remains completely independent and will continue to be led by Bob to fulfill the team's vision, just like before. We've just glad we got the opportunities to support. If you didn't try Odin.fun, give it a shot. And then he has this It's a really cool graphic and stuff like that. But this was another one right here. So Farmer Joe, we know he's one of the leaders of the pups community. I don't know if he's actually has anything to do with the art and from Lopet and stuff like that, but he's definitely a big voice in the pups community. He said, I love the sound of pups on Odin Fun. And then Udi goes, pups go ups. And then Kimmy Boy says, you have an investment fund. He said, nope, we're a startup. We generally don't make investments into other startups. Odin was just a really exceptional. So again, like they don't really do this, but they're doing this for Odin. So that again, I think that's a big deal. So
I agree, and it shows that it got their attention, right? To the point to that they couldn't ignore it, and they had to show support, had to kind of throw some investment into it. And so I think that's a bullish sign. Again, though, I think Udi does have this connection with BeLife too. So I mean, this could be
I forgot about that.
This could be a kind of collaborative type of approach. And you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. But they are throwing investment into it too. So that makes it a little bit different than what I just said. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see how much involved he gets into it. Right, because if he just posts this and then doesn't talk about like the platform or anything later,
So obviously we don't know. But do you think he invested in Odin, or do you think he invested in Valhalla?
We don't know. I mean, you know what I mean? It seems like he just mentioned Odin in that post, and maybe he did that because they wanted to keep it discreet. Right. But myself made a good comment just now. He said, sounds like backdoor handshakes. Well, kind of, right? We don't know. Like to be a fly on the wall there, but until they come out with more information, we'll probably just be limited to they're interested in Odin and they invested into it.
Yeah, man. All right, let's get into the off-chain news first. Russia is using crypto, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is huge, and obviously USDT in its 192 billion oil trade with China and India. This is something we saw coming a long time ago. Obviously, Russia got cut off from SWIFT, so they have to figure out other ways to, trade, right? Especially, it is one of the biggest provider in oil. It can't just take millions of dollars, from bank to bank no more because they're kind of outlawed, right? So how else are you going to take money in? USDT, backed 1-to-1 with the US dollar, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. Absolutely huge. This is ground shaking. And I don't know why this really isn't moving the price. This is the biggest thing to happen to crypto, in my opinion, maybe ever. It's the oil trade.
Yeah, this is huge, right? But it also kind of goes into like the BRICS kind of thought process, right? Like China, India, Russia, they're all part of BRICS. So maybe the mainstream media doesn't necessarily want to be reporting on that right now because it wouldn't be positive for the US, right? So I'm thinking that, but in terms of the adoption for crypto in the main, top two, theoretically, right now, I know ETH is hurting, but Bitcoin, ETH, and USDT, that's huge. That is a huge headline.
Yeah, 100%. Monstrous. I mean, Bitcoin is moving today. We're up to 84,700. We're up. I don't know what's going on, but we're up.
Maybe that
$1,700.
Maybe that news got people bullish on Bitcoin. So
So we're up like $1,700 on the day so far. I'm seeing a $3,000 change in a 24-hour though, which is huge. So yeah, Bitcoin's running, guys. Bitcoin's running. I think we get back to 90 probably by the end of this month, and we'll see what happens from there. But it's huge for Bitcoin. The next thing here is newly revealed court documents show FTX sold 1.53 billion in Three Arrows Capital assets 2 weeks before the hedge fund collapsed. They're actually suing them. Three Arrows Capital is actually suing FTX, and this is just bankruptcy lawyers and bankruptcy lawyers, right? That's all it is. But they're actually suing FTX for the 1.53 billion. Saying that's what caused the collapse of Three Arrows Capital. I don't even know what to think about this. Obviously, we knew that FTX was a big reason why a lot of those businesses crashed. There's rumors that they purposely dumped the price so they could buy BlockFi, and they end up buying BlockFi, right? And they want to buy BlockFi and Celsius at one point, but because it seemed like he was just trying to destroy the market so he can buy it up.
That is exactly what it seemed like and exactly what happened, really. But how far back do you go? I mean, could
Yeah.
FTX try to sue Binance and CZ and say, hey, if they didn't, tweet this out, then we wouldn't have
He
collapsed. And
never he never sold though. That's the difference.
Huh?
CZ actually never sold the FTX tokens.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. How far are they going to be able to get down the road with this? We're gonna see. But I'm kind of done talking about FTX and that whole thing. I think we have different issues that we're going through right now.
I think this is good though. It's kind of a learning experience, right? Because crypto is such a small like group, like financially in that area, and I think that it's kind of good to kind of pull the curtain back a little bit and kind of remember the history of what happened, so this we don't repeat the mistakes, right? When we see a big company like that, we can't just be like FTX is the greatest. We have to kind of see the evil in some of these corrupt leaders, and that's kind of what SBF.
Well, but we went through all that, right? Like, and that's why he's in jail right now.
Yeah, but we didn't know about this. I mean, so you're gonna this is sabotage. This is complete utter sabotage what he did. So he sold $1.53 billion in a weekend. Like that's how you destroy a company. Like, I mean, who can come back from that? That's evil, right?
Yeah.
So
Very true.
all right. This one's pretty cool. The 9 tokens bought by Trump-backed World Liberty Financial are currently in a total loss of $124 million, according to Look OnChain. Among its biggest losses include ETH, Wrapped Bitcoin, and Aave. And I have the full list right here. So this is everything that they've bought, and it's kind of their profit and loss. They've lost 93 million on Ethereum, 17 million on Bitcoin, 800,000 on Tron, 3 million on Link, 3.5 million on Aave, Athena 3.5 million, Move 1.2, 300K on Ondo, 18,000 on Say, with a total of $124 million in loss. So what do you think about Trump's burning his own bags? So yeah, he's screwing our bags, but he's losing a big portion of the of the World Liberty token sale, right, which is 550 million. So I don't know. What do you think about this?
I think that we got to remember that like this portfolio is also losing. It's not just everybody in the space, right? So, but it's weird. So Athena, going down 6 cents, he lost that much. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because Athena's a stable token, right?
No. Athena is so you have USDE, which is the Athena stable token, and then you have the Athena token.
This is the governance side of things, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, pretty crazy. All right, next thing here is I found this interesting. So Solana stablecoin supply surges 130% year to date from 5 billion to 11.8 billion. And I kind of want to take a look at like where the stablecoins are kind of sitting. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. Of course, it's not letting me. Yeah. So anyway, I can just read it off to you. So Ethereum stablecoins obviously is about $122 billion. Tron is about 62 billion. Solana 11.5 billion. So this is year to date. So you had 111 billion in Ethereum last year, and now 122. So barely any progression. Tron 58 billion last year, 62 billion. Again, not much progression there. Solana obviously 5 to 11. BNB again, barely any movement at all. 6.8 to 6.9. Base went from 3.6 to 3.9. So yeah, there really hasn't been a lot of big movement in anything. Arbitrum actually went the other way. They lost.
Oh my gosh,
6.4 to 3.
And that's a big decrease actually. That's huge.
But being in Ethereum L2, that money can easily just kind of go to Ethereum. It's not like coming out of the ecosystem. If it was on Solana, I would say it's leaving the ecosystem. But like on a layer 2, like Base or Arbitrum, that I mean, it's bad for Arbitrum. Don't get me wrong, but it might not be terrible for the ecosystem. But
I did notice though, like Base, for having the demand that it has, like for it to not barely have that little bit of growth, so that you're right. There's probably like this L2 kind of consistency with that, right? The stables don't grow as much there, maybe. So we know Base had like a really uptick in users and stuff over the past 12 months. That's what I imagine. I haven't seen that official data. I'm just going off of sentiment and stuff. And Arbitrum actually had, from sentiment, is a pullback of users. I know they still have like their transactions and stuff that are happening. They got a lot of cool stuff on Arbitrum, by the way. Like the GameFi stuff. But man, that's a huge pullback right there. And another one is not official layer 2, but you could see like Avalanche pullback and stuff like that. But you can go through all those.
Do you think a lot of this money went from Arbitrum to Solana? Because you can see there's not much. Everyone's growing, right? Or do you think the growth is coming from directly from the dollar?
I think it's Arbitrum or from Arbitrum to Base. Arbitrum is one of the best like stable token to bridge from, because like the fees are really cheap. It's fast. So whenever Barachain launched, like everybody was using Arbitrum. Whenever you were bridging to Merlin, Arbitrum was one of the best options for that, right? Now you were doing Wrap Bitcoin, and even in Wrap Bitcoin, it was like really good. And then so I feel like it's Arbitrum's a really good option to like bridge. But so to me, maybe that doesn't really explain why they cut back that much. Yes, stable leaves there, but I would still think that there would be a consistent amount of stable there because it's so good to bridge back and forth. But hey, they did have a big pullback, and it's the most significant one on the chart there.
Is that the only way to get stables on to Barachain is through Arbitrum? Because that could have been it too. They could have had billions of dollars just waiting to go to Barachain.
So that's the one that was given the default option. They might have added more.
Yeah. Okay.
But
gotcha. Makes sense. All right. So World Liberty Financials has completed its sale of its token, raising a total of $550 million. We do know that Justin Sun was a big buyer of this token, which is really smart by him, honestly. So what do you think about World Liberty? I mean, this is probably why they don't care about these losses, because they need to put the money somewhere, right? So it's kind of like, to me, it's like they're sitting on a lot of money. I mean, all this is basically an index fund, right? They're just buying other tokens and creating this I don't know, it's like the first of its kind, to where you can buy a token and actually get exposure to a whole bunch of other tokens, right?
I think this is really bullish for them because we don't have that right now. I mean, I'm sure there's a product out there, but it's not popular enough for everybody to be like, oh yeah, that's our index fund that we look the S&P or like other TradFi index funds and stuff. So I think this is going to be popular in the future once more adoption comes on board, because there's obviously enough people to raise $550 million with it. What's the value go to? They're keeping probably a good amount to themselves. And so this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out and turns into like this kind of blue chip type of index fund.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Do you think that they could get like become an ETF as well? It's where you're buying this ETF, right? Because it's a token just like anything else, but you're actually getting exposure to everything that's inside of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they can, but I think it'd be smart for the SEC and our administration and to say, hey, let's give it some time to build a strong foundation.
Yeah,
I would hate for them just to kind of like be able to just jump in just because it's
who they are.
Exactly.
100%. And then they went and bought, right after they finished this sale, they went and bought 541,000 say, or at the 100,000. So they're buying every day. They're doing it like a DCA type of thing. Say seems to be the token of choice right now. Sui and Say seems to be the two that they're really buying into right now. But yeah, I don't really know much about Say. I know Sui was invented in the Facebook labs and stuff like that. So the technology is amazing. Aptos is another one that is also the same technology, the Move language. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. All right, let's get the next thing here. So crypto VC funding rebounds in February. Isn't that shocking? Because it's crazy. So after months of sluggish investment, February saw the strong recovery in crypto venture capital deals, with DeFi leading the charge. Major projects including the Teal, which is Peter Thiel, the Teal O, secured significant funding, signaling renewed confidence in the market. Is this the beginning of a broader Web3 funding round? Let me bring up this chart here. And as you can see, Account raised by category. So business and service providers is the highest, but then where is it's kind of what the VCs are getting into. It seems like business, service, and providers. What do you think that is? I'm struggling with that. Obviously, I know what security services, payments, artificial intelligence, funds, but what do you think business service providers is?
Yeah, so that's going to be stuff like software as a service,
Okay.
B2B type of things. For example, like being able to do infrastructure type of things for businesses that want to integrate Web3 into their Web2 platform or stuff like that. That's huge. It's bullish, meaning that TradFi and these VCs and angel investors are looking at, or traditional investors, I should say, probably more starting to come in, are looking at ways to really get, these big Web2 companies integrated, and they're investing in the companies like, in my opinion, stuff like probably Maestro, stuff that like make it easy for builders to be able to, and then you have the other kind of like product side is that for infrastructure too, to make businesses have an easy integration. That's going to be the biggest part of this business, in my opinion, is making Web2 businesses' lives easy to integrate Web3. Because if it's hard, they're going to hate it. You know what I mean? So making it easy is very, very important.
100%. I agree. There's something on this chart that really made me bullish. It's the NFTs being here and layer 1 and layer 2 being here. Is that wild? Is that just nuts? I don't know why. I'm just like baffled. NFTs are bigger investments than layer 1s and layer 2s.
I think they're
didn't think
looking
I'd
at
ever see that.
yeah, but I think they look at NFTs as like an opportunity from the tech side, right?
Okay.
Not stupid monkey pictures or frog pictures. They're not looking at it like that. They're looking at
So
it
they're not
as
buying CryptoPunks.
I don't think so. Maybe there's like a little like bit of the investment that's going towards like future, what was it called? Future assets, collectible assets or whatever, commodity type thing. But I think it's more of developing how NFT technology can be utilized in the everyday world, everyday society, right? Tickets, stuff like that, right? I think that's going to be a big thing. But I think, they're doing the investment now because before there wasn't true focused investment with regulations around it, the same way that we have now with our space. So they actually can build real world products like they're used to with Silicon Valley. So that's the biggest difference. And so I'm excited about this chart.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. Yeah. I do love it. DeFi is still number 2. So, but we'll see. We'll see if it stays there. Are you a big like star moon guy at all?
What do you mean, like astronomy?
Yeah, astrology or whatever it's called. No. Okay. Well, your boy Bob Lucas is. He says full moon incoming. Time for some new hope in the markets and a rally. I hope cycles are well positioned and markets are really oversold. Bob Lucas, he's been talking a little bit of astrology on his X. What do you think? Do you think this full moon can? I mean, technically we're up, right? So what do you think? It's like a red blood moon or something like that as well.
Yeah, Erin is really big in it, right? Like Casey's Erin, I guess you could call her, but she's really big in it. And she actually called, based off of it, I think the first half of this year being like bearish.
Yeah.
So she got that right. So maybe I should look into it a little bit more. I just don't get into that kind of stuff because, like, I'm a person of faith, but it does, like, it's fun to kind of just look at it and say what happened, but this is interesting. Hey, look, the looks like the market's responding to it. So we'll see. Maybe I need to check it out for different things as well.
I'm gonna start digging in, bro. I'm gonna start reading books on it.
We won't do a segment on here though. I don't...
Astrology Revolution is coming, guys. No, I'm just kidding. The last thing here before we get into fear and greed is Rep. Brian Donaldson, someone who I truly respect, to introduce the bill. Basically putting Trump's executive order on a national Bitcoin reserve, aiming to prevent future administrations from reversing it. I didn't know that anything like this was even possible, that you could do that. You can kind of put it in because Congress can always just make a change if they want to make a change, right? But I definitely respect Brian Donaldson here and what he's doing. I mean, a lot of these guys too, they realize how big the crypto market is voter wise. And I think they're really trying to make sure that they're known as that crypto representative, right?
They're trying to appease, yeah. And before, honestly, and I don't know how people are going to feel about this statement, but I think it's the truth. Look, it's replacing kind of the TradFi support that they were getting, right? The banker, the institutional banker lobbyist and stuff, and it's just inevitable that it's switching, and we saw it last election. So you're going to see people that weren't so friendly towards crypto in politics change their tune, or at least be a bit more careful, and the people that were already friendly probably be even more friendly, like I think Byron Donalds, right? So this is big, I think. And look, I think eventually there's got to be like this clarity moment of the US is going to have a strategic reserve and a strong strategy, not irresponsible, but a strong strategy to be able to continually add Bitcoin to their balance sheet.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I'm getting really bullish. I don't know why. I'm getting like, I feel like the tide's turning a little bit. Especially with all the news we just kind of went through today. I feel like we're almost at a point where if we haven't bottomed yet, we're super, super close. And I'm really leaning towards that next Wednesday, which is the Fed meeting, and then the 25th, which is kind of the day we're supposed to really start pushing up, according to the chart that Colin Toast Crypto put out about the M2 money supply, right? Being that 10 weeks ahead of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin usually follows that 10 weeks behind. And we're getting to that point where we could see an explosion in April. I mean, it's no surprise. We kind of really thought that, but having a terrible February and a terrible March like we had, it's really hard to kind of, look at April and be like, yeah, we're gonna be bullish, when how do you be positive when you don't see nothing positive? But I'm finally seeing the positive steps forward.
Same, I'm seeing it too. And I remember last fall, leading up to the fall, there was the M2 money supply talk, and we saw that it was ahead, and it did affect Bitcoin and the stock market, right? It was a positive effect, but it didn't affect altcoins like we thought it would. Maybe this time around it does, right? So the M2 money supply could be a catalyst for alt season. We'll see.
Yeah, we're looking forward to the end of this month in April. So let's get into the fear and greed here. Last Friday, we're at 34. Yesterday, we're at a 45. We are way lower than 45. We're in fear, but not extreme fear.
We're back in fear.
Yeah.
33.
Pretty close, 27 right there. It's shocking, right? Like, how do we go from the pendulum swung hard on that one, didn't it? Bullish, bearish. Like, that's kind of remember we used to be like 43, 44, 45, 43, 42, 48, and now it's like 45, 27. It feels like something is about to happen, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, before, whenever last year, it was definitely like just not really moving, and that's when you were getting bored. Right. And you're like, I just wanted to do something. If it crashes down, I'm okay. Let's just take it. Let's do something. Dance for me. But as of late, the last, I would say 2.5 months, it has been extremely volatile. So I'm actually used to that now. It's like the new norm for me is like the volatility of the fear and greed index, as well as the price. Right. So yeah, that's what I'm used to now.
Yeah, man. All right. Let's get into that Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artora. Artora.finance is a brand new site that you'll be able to do some borrowing. Some leveraging, right? Some Bitcoin leverage. You'll be able to do many coins, but they're going to focus on the Bitcoin coins as well. You're going to see Ordi, possibly Sats as well, and who knows, we might even get some runes leverage. So Artora, they're actually on Botanic's testnet right now. If you go there and you can make one trade, you'll get put in a raffle and basically earn. Guys, a lot of our partners are opportunities for you guys. Kind of why we partner with them. Most of them are doing an airdrop. Artora, BetBTC, Ordinal Hive, and Foxy. Want you guys to definitely be a part of that. So go to Artora.finance today. Make one trade. You go there. We did a video on it. We just put it out. So you guys want a step-by-step walkthrough. You guys can watch that and walk you all the way through on how to make your first trade. But just make one trade. It'll take you 10 minutes. You just need a MetaMask wallet and the internet. So I think everyone has that. And then you just go make one trade and you're in. And then in a few weeks, their paper trading competition is going to start. And that's going to be fun. And that's going to be exciting because you'll be able to potentially earn a lot more. These guys are, potentially want to enrich their community. I think all community leaders would love that, right? So I definitely want to be a part of the Artora community. I want you guys to be a part of it too, especially if there's no money involved, right? Just a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, and that's all it takes. But definitely check out Artora.finance.
Yep. And also, guys, if you could help us out on the YouTube side, smash that like for us and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, hit that like for us and share the space. We want to educate and onboard as many people to crypto and the Bitcoin ecosystem as possible. And if you could share the abstract link, stream link, that would be great as well. But let's dive into some Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura. So Bitcoin is looking, gosh, I really hate that they switched that, man. Like I still can't get used to it. Okay, cool. Let's take a look here. You can see Bitcoin's price actions looks pretty strong. Honestly, it looks really. This is the hour chart, by the way, just to give you guys a heads up. I am using Artura's platform, as I mentioned. You can actually break it out and zoom in. You do have to switch to the trading view tab though to be able to get the indicators on. But let's take a look here. You can see from yesterday, I would say probably about evening. We started this uptrend. It's been pretty strong, consistent. Not one red candle in this whole uptrend. We had not one, like maybe two little green candles on the downtrend, but this looks really good because we kind of topped it off here with a strong candle for this current hour. But we're sitting here at 84,300. The stochastic RSI is showing. Look, you can see this blue leading indicator line, right? It looked like it was wanting to be done here, and you can see that's probably part of this pull down, and then it started to reverse direction, and now it looks like it might possibly want to continue up. So that's a good sign there. The MACD looks good too. You can see that the blue MACD leading indicator line looks like it wants to go up too. This actually looks pretty decent heading into the weekend, right? So I like what I'm seeing so far, at least for the next 4 to 8 hours. But I would still be cautious because in the current climate that we're in, we have seen so many times before how one headline can really crash things, good or bad. Which is really weird. But that's just kind of how it's been. I am waiting for some more consistency before I feel more confident to be able to take, leverage positions for myself. Do as you please based off of your research, though. So that's what I'm seeing for the second half of today. Let's look at the 4-hour chart here and zoom in here. All right. Yeah, 4-hour looks great. Remember how yesterday I said, look, the 4-hour looked okay, but the 1 hour didn't look great heading into kind of like the second half of yesterday. Well, that reversed. And so did it for the 4-hour. You can see right here, basically that build up this morning turns us into what I think is going to be like a decent weekend. Saturday's probably not going to be like, intensely like bullish or anything like that. But this does let me think that, we'll probably have a good Sunday where that's going to be like a little, a decent first half of Sunday, or if that big move in the afternoon, in the evening on Sunday, which typically there's a big move, is a positive one, we might see that as well. So I'm feeling pretty good heading into the weekend here, honestly. And look, we got about a week to week and a half to where that M2 money supply should start taking effect, because a lot of people are talking about March 25th. So I think we're in a decent spot, and I don't want to jinx us because obviously, we have been going back and forth and extremely volatile, but I will pull up the liquidation levels here. And so as we are creeping up here, it looks like we probably liquidated a good amount of shorts because you're not seeing too many orange clusters here. You do see some below here. You see some long liquidation clusters here building back up too. So yeah, I'm just going to be very careful. Look, there's going to be a moment in time where Bitcoin just kind of takes off again, and that positive price trend really takes. There's nothing that market makers can do. There's nothing that because it's the moment for it to really go up, and that's whenever we level back up. We're not there yet, in my opinion, but I do like the rebound that I'm seeing so far. Just be careful, like if you're going to be taking leverage, and you guys, the ones that trade often, you probably know a little something about a little something. So, right now is volatile, but that is what I'm seeing for Bitcoin's price action. And, I feel best. I feel the best I've felt probably in about a week. And that's kind of how the time frame that we're going to have to go with right now, with everything just bouncing around constantly.
So you're saying we're all going to make it? It's kind of what you're saying.
Oh, we're always going to make it. We're always going to make it. So.
Guys, it's official. Yago B is bullish. Let's buy. No, I'm just kidding. But let's get into today's roll call here. It is nice to see you bullish though, because I listen to a lot of your chart, like for obviously every day, and it's at the end of it, it's always like, but we're probably going to go down here, and it's like, stop it, be bullish for our community. But you're right. I'm not saying you're not right. I just want, even if it's fake, I want it to be bullish. But you're too real for that, my friend. But let's kind of get in to the roll call here. ASAP Benji, congratulations to you, my friend. You are number one. It looks like it is your third time being number one. So congratulations to you. And I will go back and double check. I usually do it every weekend to make sure that all these numbers are correct. But yeah, it looks like you have the third one. So congratulations to you. You, my friend, deserve it. Still a shot, man. There's still plenty of time for anyone to win this Bitcoin frog. We will actually show it again. Probably we'll show it again next week. I gotta go in the wallet and get the numbers. I'll show you guys or.io. Maybe we'll start putting it in the show notes as well, so you guys can click on it. And yeah, so that frog, I think it's sort of like $1,200 right now. So there's $1,200 frog on the line. All you got to do is be first, like Benji is today. Shout out to you, my friend. Thank you all for being here every single day. We appreciate you guys. And then Benji says, first is first after days of trying. That's what it is, man. If you get it once a week, you can potentially win the whole thing. Like, honestly, you just got to hope WebDro doesn't like kill it. I love WebDro. That's my guy. And then, so that was at 158. And then at 2:15 yesterday, PJNZ comes in and goes, Benji was ASAP as F. So I love it. And guys, there isn't like no like notifications or anything like that. This is very random. I think you posted it at like 1:55 now. And then 2 minutes later, we get somebody, so just cool. But they're probably sitting there refreshing, right? Like, how else do you...
I mean, they're dedicated. You can tell, you know, and I gotta appreciate that. Like, they're on top of it. They're, you know, just trying to compete, and you love that. So
100%. Mr. Hanky's here, the Christmas poo. He loves me and I love you. Shout out to Mr. Hanky and his Billy Cats. You don't see a lot of people rocking Billy Cats, but our community's still rocking them, man. Shout out to Mr. Hanky. ASAP Benji says, PJNZ and WebJo, you guys should take a 2-week break. WebJo says 1 week down, 1 week to go. Did WebJo not win this week? He didn't. His last win was Friday. Yeah.
Do you think he's WebJo, are you letting up, trying to give a little bit more chance, some hope to some other people?
He's trying to not make it a 2-man race between him and Danny. And then you have PJNZ at 7th, which is right there. I mean, one good week where you win 2 times, and anyone's back in this. Matt says, enjoy the beach, WebDro. Malam Yuri is here. Congrats. Shout out to Malam. I know I think you were first the one day, but then the Reaper got you. Keep trying, Malam. You'll get there. Nabab is here. Shout out to Nabab. Glass Hopper, let's go. And then our guy, Superfan, says, sometimes I want to ignore the 8 a.m. PST alarm to catch you guys. Then I realize I'm not bullish enough. Shout out to Superfan. Love it, brother. Love it. Thank you so much for being here every day. Your support to us means so much, man. If there's any way we can support you as well, just please let us know. We would love to support you and your big noodle there. So, hey, that's the name of his project. That's the name of his project. I don't. S says GM Bells Coin is here again to support OnChain Revolution, the best crypto show in the world. Yeah, so we're actually going to be scheduling another Bells Corner in a few weeks. So tune in for that. We're kind of waiting to get a little closer to. Would you call it a halving? What'd you call that for Bells?
Epoch. They call it epoch. Yeah, but the whole idea is you're cutting the supply to the miners, and it's really significant. Yeah, you know, if there's ever a catalyst that Bells needed, it's this coming final last epoch. So yeah, just pay attention, guys. If you hold Bells or if you're interested in Bells, pay attention to this.
100%. Nagi says, let's go. Patty Poo says, sup. Mice Elf says, be greedy when people are fearful. 100%. That's Warren Buffett's. I'll probably written on his grave for sure. Patty Poo says, you guys following Derb by Grok and Breaker and Clicker AI. What do you think about these? I have no idea.
So DRB, I'm following it, and it crashed, guys. Like, so I heard about it like a week and a half ago or whatever, like right when it launched or right before it was about to launch, but I didn't pay attention to it because we were focused on something else. But then I saw the market cap start to rise, and I saw that like 25 million. I was like, whoa, damn, I should have got into this. Yeah. But because it launched on the 5th, actually, so about 9 days ago. And but then this morning I looked at it as 11 million. So it crashed. Could that be a re-entry? Could that be an entry point? possibly. This is the very first token that an AI has launched, kind of by itself, without the use of humans. And I think that like Turbo was launched with the created a smart contract.
What about the one that launched in August?
AXPT?
No, it was.
Yeah, a human had to launch that, and then it just went on its own. So this one supposedly, that's the difference.
How did Grok do that? Like, I don't think Grok can do that.
I don't know. Patapoo. So okay, I think there was a collaboration of two AIs though, or like an AI framework and then Grok. So Grok, and then I think it's Banker, I think, or BNKR, and then that's what launched the token. So there is no humans involved, I don't believe, and that's what made it unique.
Yeah, because there was one, I think, one of the early Bitcoiners like gave it like $100,000 or something like that. It was last August. It had a weird name. It's not top of my head. It was just Solana coin though. But moving on here, Tim Baker says, "Let's go!" Shout Tim Baker. And then Patty Poo, the Bitcoin machine, says, "First Grok token," and we know first is first. Yeah, we know that over here in Bitcoin. It doesn't seem like anywhere else feels that way.
Sometimes,
yeah.
Well, and it doesn't work out all the time. Like it pretty much is like 95% here, but in other places it'll start off. The first token will go crazy, and then for example, like Yup with Abstract, right? And then like another token will take this place. But for Bitcoin, like it just seems to be like if you are the first of the standard, then you win, right? So
yeah, 100%. Yep, I agree. I'm just saying something about Patty Poo. Did you see anything about Fidelity tweeting about OpCat? How did I miss that?
I didn't, but I think Udi has a relationship with people at Fidelity, I guess, and we'll probably start to see more and more of this kind of like relationship stuff cross from both sides.
Yeah, I wanted to real quick check out. He said, "Is he talking about OpCat token?" No, because the OpCat token.
No, he's talking about like I think he's talking about OpCat in general.
All right, let's actually read his comments. But first, let me get into my guy, Mr. Sheedy. Long time no see, hanging out while on lunch. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Sheedy, we appreciate you being here, man. With your goose, man. We miss you, man. It's been a while since you came hang out with us. But it was probably because I was bearish on Bitmaps. But yeah, but I'm glad you're back, Sheedy, and you're the man, sir. Okay, this is the comment I see. Udi seems to have influence with Fidelity. Do you think it's coincidence that Fidelity posts a survey about OpCat to Bitcoin as they are pushing Quantum Cat's mint? Interesting. He said, "Did you see OpCat God Candle? What is? How do you? What do you
maybe
mean?"
he's talking about. Yeah, I think he is talking about the Cat 20 token. Then
no, because it's not. Look, it's like black.
Yeah. Patapoo, could you clarify your comment here? It's getting Shizzy very, very confused of what, and me too. Like I don't know what he's talking. Unless, I mean, is that 800% jump up right there though?
No, that's 11.
He's saying Cat 20.
He's saying 11 cents. I mean, 800%, dude. 800% would be like 80 cents. Or and this thing is only up. I mean, let's go to the year. I mean, I mean, it's a little bit, but 100%, I would say. Oh, there it goes. Patty Poo says it has retraced. Okay, it did retrace and come back up, but I mean, dude, this is at 16 cents. I mean, this thing was at $1.30 like 2 months ago, right? So I don't know. I mean, everything down this bed deserves a pump up, but I am very bearish on any fractal tokens right now. So, but that's the thing. If Bitcoin did get OpCat, which I think we're both in the camp of saying it's not going to happen, right?
It's going to be hard for that to happen. In my opinion, they've actually tried to push like the people that started to see momentum for OpCat started to push the OpCat's not going to happen, but OpCTV paired with something else is the best option, and then that started getting momentum. So I just can't see that happening this year. But I'm not in these meetings, private meetings and stuff. So
I'd be shocked if it happened. Absolutely shocked. Myself says sounds like a backdoor handshakes. Yep. KaiFX says we still got to make all-time high. Pelpa GM legends, and then Patty Poo says Derb on base. Nighthawk GM fellas, Kamal is here. Shout out to Kamal, Chief Axel, my guy. Pelpa is here with a ribbit. Shout out to Pelpa. And then
Hey.
quality you as always. Myself says, as above, so below. It's funny how what happens in the sky affects the earth, human philosophy, and behavior. Yeah, 100%. I guess he's talking about the astrology thing. I don't know. I don't know. Astrology, like, it's just, I don't know. I'm such a, like, it's
Well,
just
I
hard
mean,
for me to.
yeah, it's definitely different. It's a different thought process and perspective, especially if you're
Yeah.
more of a logical type of person, right? But like it's the same thing with like the crystals and the energy within the crystals. So there's truth to some of this, to where like every particle in the universe has like energy, right? For the
Yeah.
most, I think pretty much every particle, and so one thing that we can't deny though is like the moon does like dictate like the tides, which is crazy because that's energy that's coming, and I mean like that's proven, right? So I'm just not one of those people that's going to go down to that, like the I don't want to call it witchery or anything, but like that realm of perspective. But hey, look, if that's for you, then that's awesome. But I'm not going to go down there because I can't prove it except for the
Yeah.
tides. That's the only thing.
The only thing the moon does for me is tell me when it's bedtime. Because I got a big window by the TV when I'm playing PlayStation 5. I don't see a clock, but I'll look up and see the moon just like staring at me, like, oh shit, maybe maybe it's time, because it's usually like above here, but the time it gets to here, it's like, oh shit, it's like 12 o'clock. I need to get my ass to bed. But yeah, it's I don't know. I walk alone since GM. It's awesome having I walk alone and Mr. Sheedy in here together for the first time in a long time. Shout out to you guys. Patty Poos is correct. Free launch. Pelpa says there's another one, Banker X Perp. Yeah, I don't know. Fees generated with to Gronk's wallet, 600K in fees. Damn.
Gronk,
Says sell.
Gronkowski.
Well, Grok.
Yeah, I know.
Sell the stars, buy the moon. It matters if everyone else buys in. That's true. That's true.
There you go.
100%. 100%. But thank you, every single one of you guys. A lot of comments today, guys. Thank you so much. And I'm curious something. If you guys are participating in Odin, put a 1 in the chat for me. I kind of want to know like how many of you guys are actually participating in Odin, and how far we should really be taking our research and bringing it to the live shows. So in the chat for us, please put a 1 in the chat if you are participating in Odin. If you have bought anything on Odin or deposited it at all, please put a 1 in the chat so we can kind of see.
And
how far
put a 2 in the chat if you haven't and you're not interested. And I'm just curious. Yeah.
100%. Kind of see who's paying attention here. We potentially could have a guest here, but he hasn't popped in yet. But we'll kind of move on here. So Ethereum's Pectra upgrade enters final testing phase with the hoodie testnet. Mainnet launch could happen as early as April 25th. So we talked about this earlier this week, I want to say, maybe last week. But Ethereum's new upgrade is going to basically, it's going to allow the L2s to really, really kind of push stuff going forward there. So what it's basically going to do, it's going to allow, right now it has a max data limit that's really small, and it's going to actually 1000x that data limit, to where a chain like Arbitrum, which is the layer 2, or a chain like Base, which is layer 2, is going to be able to put a whole bunch of transactions and roll them up into one and kind of push that in. Right now they're doing like a bunch of transactions, but it's going to actually cut the fee. I was kind of looking into this, of Base and Arbitrum by like 90%.
Wow.
Pretty cheap.
Well,
But
I mean, both of those are cheap. I mean, I think Base is cheaper than Arbitrum, right?
I think they're around the same.
Okay. Yeah, I figured, like, I didn't notice too much of a difference. Like there are some that you can notice a difference, right? But
yeah, so it's going to get even cheaper to play on some of these ETH L2s. But they were having a lot of problems with this upgrade on the last testnet. But now they're actually moving it to Hoodie, which is a brand new testnet, to make sure that the problem wasn't with the coexisting testnet. Kind of like make sure, double check it basically. Because they've been running into a lot of problems. Do you think this is rushed at all? Because Ethereum, they're usually really good. Like, it's usually one shot. Like when they did the upgrade 2 years ago, when they went from proof of work to proof of stake, it was like the smoothest thing I've ever seen. And now they seem to be having problems with these little tiny upgrades. Do you think it's rushed?
I think that they're probably like frantic about just, you know, the public perception about Ethereum in general. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
rushed, you know, I don't know what the communication's been, but I can see probably like a stressful environment, you know, with
Yeah.
the core developers there, just because, you know, it doesn't look good for Ethereum and they're losing users and stuff. So
Yeah, 100% there. All right, let's take a look at what's going on. How are the comments looking with the ones and the twos? So Patty Poo says 2. He is not messing with Odin. Mr. Sheedy says fading Odin.
yep.
Malam says 1, but not invested yet. So she's definitely paying attention. Superfan says 2. And the Claudio says July will be a hot month. Just saying. Well, yeah. 101 degrees usually here.
That's so unique. No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. Like, I'm in Texas, dude. I'm in Texas. So like July.
What do you get to over there?
Man, it could be bad. And the problem is I'm in North Texas, so it's like humid.
Yeah.
We have a lot of lakes around us and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I can't imagine like Arizona with like Eric and stuff, that it's dry heat out there. So it's like you know, both are bad. But what I was saying is that you know, it's bad here in July and August. It's like you don't want to go outside.
Yeah. Nobody wants to go outside. I hate going outside.
Yep. So. Chief Axel put a 2 and said, but interested. So interesting. Both those haven't done it yet. Yeah. But they said they're interested. I'm curious what has stopped you from moving to that next step there?
Is it the bridging? Because I know a lot of like the Bitcoin L1 guys just don't enjoy the bridging because it is, but it isn't really bridging though, right? It's technically you're depositing into a smart contract, right? A container?
Yeah. Canister. A canister. Yeah. So I mean, it is a smart contract, and it's not bridging per se, but it's a deposit. Yeah. I mean, look, whenever I was when I used Hyperliquid, it feels very similar to me. Whenever like I'm using MetaMask wallet and I have to have Arbitrum USDC and I deposit into Hyperliquid's environment.
Yeah.
I approve it. Same thing to me, you know. Yeah. Now, when you do deposit it, like I think Hyperliquid on their ledger has everything and stuff. So that's the one thing that Bob does need to bring to the platform is have the ICP ledger, so Explorer type or whatever Valhalla tech stack Explorer, so people can see everything and track everything there. So
I would love for it to get open source where you can build it. Someone else can come build it. Right?
I mean, I think that's the goal too. I think that's the goal because I've heard. Yeah, I've read a couple statements from Bob stating that's the case.
Yeah, man. I guess you build the launch pad first, right, and then you kind of build it around it, which is smart. Smart.
Yep.
Claudia says, okay, July. Babu says, Mr. Yagabi and Shizzy, what's up, buddies?
What up?
Claudia says, MFers, you will sweat Satoshi at the time.
July.
July. Okay. ASAP Benny says 1, but not. We got over that. He said I was late to join the stream. You're not late, man. You're just on time. Thank you so much for being here. Myself says the scriptures are clear. Signs in the sky. It looks like myself is down with the astrology, bro. Down with the astrology for sure. Patty Poo says all the growing pains it's had and Block faded releasing. If Block released the meme, I would have. Superman says, I'll play on Odin when it's not this broke. I think I'm saying that, dude. Everyone feels broke. How many people a day do you tell they tell you your brother broke? That's kind of how it is.
Oh, I thought he said when the platform.
No, when he's personally not broke.
Hey, I feel you, super fan. I mean, like, that's the current state, I think, of the space.
Yeah, man. Let's kind of get into it. We did a members video yesterday, kind of digging into these tokens. So if you are a YouTube member, go watch that video. We had some really good calls on it. But Odin Dog, right? In that video from yesterday, Odin Dog was 11 million, and now it's 16. The Udi News pumped it, right? How do you feel about Odin Dog right now? And do you think 16 million is a fair price?
I think that it's a price that followed the pump. Followed the good news, right? So do I think it's fair? Sure. It's gotten all the way to 30 million. So yeah, I think it's fair. It's the first token there. So
I think it's I think underwear should be like, I think this should easily be a $30-40 million token. But the fact that it is double, I was looking at today, it's double Billy Cat or $1 billion cat. Like, it's it's a little bit less than I think Pups is like 23, so it's a little less than Pups, but it's bigger than Billy Cat. It's like the third, or no, it's the fourth biggest rune now that Magic Internet Money is there. So I think this thing should be like 1 or 2, honestly. Like eventually, I mean, not 1 because a dog, but definitely 2.
We'll see. Magic Internet Money is gonna be hard to, I think, beat at that spot.
Yeah.
But we'll see, how long it takes to get there. It's been at 30. I think the next level up is going to be 40 to 50. I've mentioned that a couple times.
Yeah.
But that's if people adopt this platform and they bring Bitcoin to it, because there is a little bit of hesitancy, and also the market isn't the best right now, and we don't have the those kind of cabals. I forgot what the group was called. The guy that worked with the Argentinian president, what was his name?
Oh yeah, Hayden or something.
Yeah, Hayden. Right, like, dude, they have like tens of hundreds of millions of dollars, like, to accumulatively, right, to really pump the markets, and Odin doesn't have that, right? So like in Solana, you can really kind of do like pump anything when you have that, and so right here, it's gonna have to take some time to build that up, the liquidity up.
Yeah, I agree. Big Cat in the number 2 spot there at 5.2 million. So 2 questions here: can Big Cat pass Odin Dog? And then can Big Cat, if not, can Big Cat be the number 2 long term?
It can pass Odin Dog if there's more like adoption, even from like the Asian side, right? Like the Chinese side, that's their token, it seems like. But again, like, I remember stuff from BRC20 days, Rats got to 800 million.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know if we're in the environment to get this to even like a quarter of that.
Yeah, but you can say that though, but Bitcoin was 40,000 when BRC20s were running, right? Like, it was a very, very sideways time for Bitcoin. We didn't notice at the time, but we went from like 30 to 40, which we thought was absolutely huge. But it wasn't like we went from 60 to 100, right? Like, it wasn't like that. So the time when new stuff really kind of takes off is when no one's really paying attention. And that's kind of when Odin Fund could use this opportunity to really push. I do see Big Cat potentially taking that number 1 spot. I just wish the Solana X would convert, because the Solana token is like 300K, right? It needs to convert to this one. Someone should donate him, because he's doing a really good job. He's active every day. The count is there, Big Cat. But if you go there to the X, let's click the X. Let's kind of see where it takes you.
I think it takes you to
the Solana one, right?
Yeah, it takes you to the Solana page, which...
Oh no, it takes you to Bitcoin.
Yeah. And this was one of the things I noticed that's like vastly different between the Western side and the Asian side, the Eastern side, is that like they don't really care about the socials and the website and all that stuff. They just want to get like a community formed quickly as possible, and that's what they did with this, right? Because like this launched before, like you said, on Solana, and I was actually really shocked that it had success here.
Yeah, 100%. And the dev here on this one is Odin Don't Fun. You gotta love it. But so the tokens to get into, probably if you're bullish, right, are probably the Bob tokens. And what do I mean about the Bob token? So if you click on Odin Dog and go down to the dev, every token has a dev on it. But calling these, I would call Bob a dev, but calling some of these people devs is just really a stretch. But click Bob, and these are the Bob tokens. These are the tokens that Bob created. Go to created, and these are all the tokens that Bob created. And you can kind of see which is first. Let's click create it, and as you can see, Odin Dog was the first one that Bob created. Odin Cat was 2, Satoshi was 3, Hal Finney was 4, Rodamore was 5, SpongeBob, I guess he's left for his kids.
SpongeBob. Dude, those SpongeBob never works out on any chain, man. So that's all I'll say.
Runes, Bugatti Cat, and Bag Cat, right? So the Bob tokens are definitely the safest ones, especially Odin Dog and Odin Cat and Satoshi seem to be the one of the 3 big runners here. Do you think these continuously stay in the top 10, or do you think eventually down the line these kind of get smothered out and kind of pushed in to like the top 20, top 30?
I think they stay there until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
They've been challenged. Odin Cat's been challenged. Well, what's the market cap of Odin Cat?
1.5.
Okay, yeah. So it's at number 3, I think, right now, though,
Yeah.
total. So yeah, I mean, Odin Cat's been challenged, and it basically moved to that 3 spot. But this is the second time it's moved to the 3 spot, and it never goes away. It never completely goes away. And so I think those 3 will stay in the top 5 until I see one stay out of the top 5 and start dwindling down to 0, which I haven't seen. So.
Yep, 100%. And then Pep Odins, they actually had some news today, right? Yep. So Pep Odins is this awesome site. You guys can click that. It'll take you to pepodins.com. And I don't think it is token gated. You just have to connect your wallet. So I'm guessing it is token gated. But this is like the best alpha site for Odin. They have a Telegram and another Telegram so one of them is for the chat and one of them is for like insights and stuff like that. So Pep Odins had an amazing they had a basic announcement today, right? You want to get into that?
Yeah, so actually I can bring it up. Let me bring it up here.
And we had so what's his name?
Snoop Toshi.
It was one of the Toshis. We had Snoop Toshi on the show about last week. I think I put it out on Sunday, and it was really good, guys. You should go definitely check that video out. Definitely bullish on Pep Odin. Well, I'm bullish on the site. I'm on the tooling that these guys are creating for it. So,
yeah. So you can see right here they had a post that says Pep Odin's X Fluid tokens, meaning basically and Fluid tokens. Pep Odin's tokens can now be withdrawn to layer 1 Bitcoin from Odin God of Runes. So this is something that we've been talking about. Like, we want to see more from these Odin runes, because they start as ICP standard fungibles, and then once they bond, they etch them on Bitcoin, and then that's kind of where they can take a life away from Odin, right? And so that's what's happening here. So Fluid tokens, you guys know, if you're an everyday, community member of ours, you're very familiar with Fluid tokens on Bitcoin Layer 1, the first to offer staking vaults to retail users, right, for Bitcoin's native layer. And so what Pep Odins is doing is they're leveraging Fluid's protocol, and they're going to allow you to stake these, probably to earn more Pep Odins or to earn something. So this is really bullish in my opinion, because they're trying to be first. Look, this is not the only Odin runes that's doing this, by the way. We are hearing whispers of other Odin runes doing this. So this is really, really bullish in my opinion.
Yeah. What do you kind of expect with this? You have to withdraw it, take it to Fluid, deposit it in basically you're time locking it in your own wallet, non-custodian, right? Do you expect a lot of people to be withdrawing this or withdrawing runes, period?
If it's going to be worth it, right? If it's going to be worth it. And I think that they're going to be really creative for this, because guys, you have to think about, one thing that I really hope, and I think that the Pep Odins community, because if you join their Telegram, by the way, it started with like 20 people, 10 people, already to 800 people. If you are interested in playing around with Odin, I would recommend that you join that Telegram, just to get, learn about the tools, because there's a ton of tools. Pep Odin has tools. They have their alpha website that you can see like what's hot, what's seems to be possible rug, those kind of things. They also have their creative where you can turn your PFPs into memes, or if you launch a token, you can have like the marketing, and that's all going to be like eventually for the community of Pep Odin holders, right? So the utility move push, I hope, is really going to come back to give some utility. And you might say, oh, well, is that really utility? I think so, if it's an alpha website, right? And you have to get in through this. I think it is. But anyway, so they have the most, in my opinion, to offer as a holder. But it's funny because it is a meme in terms of like Pep Odins. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, 100%. It has like the best of both worlds. Definitely bullish on Snoop Toshi and what those guys are building long term, and more bullish on the site and the tooling. I think they're one of the first builders that are building on Odin. Like, I don't know anyone else. I mean, I know there's another project that came out, but I think that rugged, right?
No, it didn't rug.
It didn't
There's one
rug?
called there's one a trading bot, a Telegram trading bot actually called Odin Tribe. It's actually
Okay.
still in the bonding phase, and it's so funny like how the bonding works. Sometimes it just takes a while to get there, but it's hanging around like 88 to 90 something. But they actually already started building the trading bot for Telegram, and it's the reason why the fully automated one isn't there yet is because Bob needs to be able to expand the resources in terms of APIs available for these builders, and they're waiting on that because right now with the current resources they have to allocate all of it to the user base because the demand jumps up and Odin slows down. So
Yeah, man, 100%. All right, let's get into I don't want to dig into the runes, the OG runes, the L1 runes. It's crazy to call these OG runes, right? But they are technically. So we do have Dog, which is the number 3 rune. We know Leonidas is back in this, sitting at 191 million. We do know that Bob is planning, and he said this on our interview with him. He's planning on bringing the OG runes to Odin. What kind of impact do you think it's going to have bringing these guys over? Because you will have to bring it with liquidity, because the way it works on Odin is liquidity is automatically put in because of the bonding curve, right? That money you're buying it up with when you're in the bonding curve actually goes into the LP pool. But when you bridge these guys over, they're not going to have any Bitcoin with them. And for LP pool to work, you need Bitcoin and the token. What do you think, though? What kind of impact do you think something like Dog will have over there?
So when I was talking to Bob about this specific thing about a month ago, I first started the conversation. He said 100% that whoever is initiating this initiative for whatever, like let's say it's $1 billion cat to come over to Odin, that they're going to have liquidity available to do it, because this is not it's not a simple just okay, let's add OG runes. You got to think about the situation, right? So $1 billion cat has I think a billion supply, I believe, right? And so that's not what the supplies are on Odin, which are set to that 21 million per token that's launched. So that's where I think there's going to be this kind of customized decks that they build to where you can add liquidity and stuff. So the liquidity is going to have to be provided to on ramp these OG runes, and like $1 billion cat, pups, magic internet money, and Dog. I don't have any doubt that they're already doing that. Like I've heard from Bongo saying that he's already working with them, and they've been doing a great job actually, like on Solana and these other like dexes to where they get the liquidity provided, right? So I think they're going to be able to do the same thing here. So it's going to be very interesting, because what's going to happen once these come over, if they already have liquidity, that's going to be a great thing, because which they have to have, because now you're not grabbing liquidity from some of these other tokens. Now, will people buy into these just because they feel like some of them are opportunity? Yes, I think so. But hopefully by then the onboarding is enough to where you won't see too much of a hit.
Yeah, 100%. How many tokens do you think are going to get listed within the next, like, let's just say it goes live tomorrow? Do you think he starts off with a bunch of them, or do you think it's going to be just like a couple? And if so, which ones do you just guess he's gonna be listing?
So I think he's going to try to shoot for Dog, because there's 100,000, was it 98,000 holders, and obviously it's not probably exactly that many, right? But there's a significant amount, and that's going to help with kind of spreading the word, because if he works with Leonidas, then Leonidas is going to hold spaces saying, hey, like we're going live on Odin. That's going to be a huge movement, and I think that's going to be way more impactful than that spaces they had about Solana. I still think that was good that they did that, because it's kind of like let's kind of break the ice there. But this is more Bitcoin ecosystem native and friendly, right? And so I think that's going to be way more of an onboarding event than the Solana side of things. But again, I think that was necessary to kind of get the ball rolling. But I think he's going to start with that, and he probably will say, let's just kind of handle this, because this is a big adjustment, like this is a big event. And then maybe add some of the other popular ones like $1 billion cat, like pups, like and then go down the line, right? And see whichever ones, because at the end of the day, I think it's like as a business owner or platform, it's positive in my opinion for him, because it's all about like fees, right? So we're gonna see. I messaged him. I bothered him about like the beginning of this week, and I said, well, he's like, this is the number one thing on their list right now, and they're very, very close. But it's a huge event, and they just want to make sure it's done correctly, and I mean, you got to appreciate that.
Yeah, I kind of wish he wasn't working on this. I don't think this is necessary, right? Like I just think I'd rather him keep developing Odin. We've seen a lot of problems happen within the last 10 days where it went down, the indexer went down. I don't think this should be a priority focus, in my opinion, right now. I would rather him be working on the fixes and stuff like that, having his full team there, and this kind of being something that comes later. Like I get why he wants to bring it. It's going to bring liquidity. It's going to bring a lot of people there.
Users.
But you can't handle the users you have now, right? So I don't know. I feel like his resources are being pushed in the wrong direction here, and I think this was not necessary right now.
Well, maybe that's why he hasn't released it, because it seems
Yeah.
like everything is ready, and he
Yeah.
hasn't released it. Maybe because he knows that if he does do that, then there's a high probability that we're gonna have downtime, right?
Yeah.
And he probably wants to at least wait for a certain amount of consistent time to not have downtime, right? And then get on, basically, you know, at that point, onboard it when he feels confident. And look, Bob's a smart guy, right?
Yeah.
He's a smart guy. We can both agree with that, and I think most of the space will. And so I think he'll make the right decision of when to release it.
Yeah. You recently said something. You said something about like this Odin thing kind of being more bullish than Solana. My argument there would be Solana has, you know, insane amount of it's insane amount of like liquidity over there. Why would something like Odin be more bullish than liquidity driven Solana?
I think it's you made a good point whenever you and I were just talking about BS, but the space, right? And you said it's Bob. And like,
Yeah.
that's not to take anything away from anybody else. It's the fact that, like, you know, he's been like really involved with like Bitcoin Startup Lab as a mentor, as someone that's been building in the space, trying to build, utilizing, leveraging ICP's tech stack, but at the same time saying, hey, you know, he's been really involved on the Bitcoin side. As he, like, at first, whenever I first heard about him, I was like, okay, this guy's really smart, his PhD, all the stuff, right? But is he more for this about ICP, or is he more for this about Bitcoin? And I stopped thinking that after a while, because I was like, okay, he's one of us. You know what I mean? And like, and whether, like, he's probably one of them too, but you don't have to pick sides if you're trying to be innovative. And I think that's why the response has been there. You know, I don't know if he did it intentionally, but he's gotten the support from people that have money, people that are connected to marketing teams that know how to market well, the Be Life guys, stuff like that. And so when you have that support and you've gotten like a consensus with people, like institutions or entities that have backing with capital, then you get other support, like what happened today with Udi.
I 100% agree with you though too. I think, and I just want to hear your argument with that. But I would add one thing to that, and I would say it's new. Right. A lot of times what happens in the space is like people don't really use the old stuff anymore. Everyone wants that new shiny thing. And right now it's Odin, right? Odin is that new shiny thing where you can get into something at a 50K market cap and you can make 100x, right? It's possible. We've seen it happen multiple times already. And I think that is kind of what people are really really like about our space and Bitcoin space is the fact that like on Solana, there's so much liquidity, yes, right? But at the same time, one, there's everyone cheats each other. There's a bunch of scumbags, a bunch of bots, a bunch of people who aren't there for good reasons, right? And I feel like something with Odin, it feels new, it feels pure, it just feels different. And with ICP as well, the technology is phenomenal. Right, absolutely phenomenal. Like I've never really enjoyed anything as much as I'm enjoying like the trading on Odin right now. It reminds me of Sonic.
Yeah, and I do think that for me, at least, I'm gonna probably try to go. I am gonna go out of my way to try to like really highlight the projects that are building like community and actual like tools and stuff, right? Like Pep Odin's, like if Odin tribe bonds and stuff. And like, yes, there's gonna be some memes that like go nuts, and that's fun and stuff, and I'll probably get into some of that. But I really want to have like an initiative to bring back kind of like the quality over quantity. And I think we have an opportunity here with this, right? Like, because I don't want to go to that pump fund
Yeah.
situation. And that's just me. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking too much about it, but that's what I want to focus on. And that's what I'm going to continue to focus on. But looks like we got a couple questions in the chat.
Yeah. You got it.
First one was from Babu, but like let's go this backwards here because this one's more relative to the current topic. It says one more question. What do you think about ICP's future? So I actually think that ICP's in having a moment right now by being able to be leveraged to service Bitcoin assets. And I've been saying this for 6 months going on now. For the people that listen to us each and every day, I say I'm the one that, like, well, Shizzy and I both, but like I feel like this has been in my mind, is that like chains like Near Protocol, like ICP, like Cardano are finding a way to be more relative, and ICP is having its moment. I hope that their founder Dominic Williams and their core team realize this and don't squander it and really support builders, which it seems to be the case because they're starting to open their eyes to stuff like Odin. I know Dominic Williams has been involved, at least like communication wise with Bob and stuff like that, as well as, you know, one of our partners, BetBTC, right? They're leveraging ICP's tech stack as well, but for Bitcoin, right? And that's what the important thing. So that's how I see them. And I guarantee you're going to start to see other chains like Near Protocol and Cardano really leverage their tech to be an off-chain computation resource like ICP is using right now, as well as Near is using to bridge, and as well as Cardano is about to start using with actually what Fluid is building with Aquarium and the bridge there. So I think the Bitcoin ecosystem in this aspect has a huge, bright future. But it's different. It's stuff that people aren't really talking a lot about.
Yeah, 100% agree. That was a great breakdown for sure. And yeah, I think that people need to start understanding that, you know, we're going to see a lot more of this, right? Like this is something that's not going away. And you can choose to fade it if you want to, but that could in the future be potentially like fading BRC20s, right? Like it's like fading ordinals in the beginning because it's brand new, it's healthy, it has a community, and it could really run. I mean, you could see these assets everywhere, and not just, but it is fluid. Real quick, not many updates for these guys. We do know there's a bunch of vaults coming. We actually getting messages from Raul right now, guys.
Yeah, but we can't. Yeah, we'll just be quiet about that.
Is the most exciting thing in the Bitcoin layer one, guys. You guys need to be paying attention. Their FLDT token is the rune, by the way. And we can get that on Odin probably. So that's going to be pretty cool potentially down the line if you can add liquidity there. But yeah, so I just want to tell you guys really about like so my stake tokens here. I have I think 400,000 dog in this one, and I have 20 of the FLDT fluid passes that I'm in 37 days I'll be able to unlock, and my dog. So guys, there's going to be a bunch more staking. We're actually getting messages right now talking about potential partnerships with Fluid, and it is very, very interesting to say the least. But definitely check out fluidtokens.com. Any other updates from them we can talk about? Because a lot of stuff we can't talk about.
Yeah, so there's gonna be an update from them next week. This I'm just gonna say it's a Bitcoin ecosystem environment, but it's not Odin. These guys deserve it. They deserve all this collaboration, this partnership. They are grinding. Raul and his team hitting up every event, convention and stuff. And so it's hard work that's starting to be paid off, right? And so I'm super excited for them. But next week is a huge announcement possibly, right? So we'll let you guys kind of simmer on that a little bit. But man, Fluid's going to be, in my opinion, right now, they're already one of the most active builders on Bitcoin's native layer, as well as now expanding to the outer kind of ecosystem environments as well.
Yeah. And the best part about Fluid right now is they're finally getting trusted. People actually staked dog. We know some big players staked dog just to kind of test it out. Now they're ready to play. Now they're like, all right, we need vaults. We need vaults now. Guys, this is going to be your number one way to earn in the future because it's non-custodian staking. You're earning by holding. Right. That's it. Like you're not giving Raul your assets, none of that. You're coming here, you're locking your assets up in your own wallet. It is a different wallet address, but it's your own wallet. And then when it's time to unstake, you're unstaking. But there's gonna be a lot of opportunities to hold stuff long term in these vaults and earn like I am, or like with dog. I mean, look at this with dog. Like I'm earning a 20% APY right now. Like I'm putting 400,000 staked and I'm earning 100,000. So when this unlocks, I'm getting 500,000 back. Like I'm gonna hold dog regardless, right? Like to me, it was like this is stupid not to do it. But shout out to Fluid, shout out to Raul and everything they're building, and look out for new vaults that are coming really, really soon.
Yep, I'm excited.
Yep. All right, guys, it is officially 12 o'clock or 12:30 on a Friday, and you guys know what that means. It is the Emblem Hour. Today, we're lucky enough to be joined by Jake Allen. If you guys don't know what Emblem Vault is doing, they're doing massive, massive things here. Not only will they basically allow you to take your NFTs to every chain. Your ordinals to every chain, and then you can take your NFTs to ordinals as well. But they're actually going to be doing this amazing AI project that they're calling AI Hustle. And Jake has some amazing updates so stay tuned for that. But really, really check out, I think it's emblem.vision. And these guys are someone to really be paying attention to. And yeah, so let's actually jump right into it. Bring up Jake Gallen from Emblem Vault. Jake, welcome back to OnChain Revolution.
Yeah, what's good, guys? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Looks like we got some energy injected into the Bitcoin ecosystem with that announcement from Udi and Taproot Wizards investing in Odin. What are your thoughts on that?
It's funny. I was actually just talking with Adam about this in our team chat. I guess there's kind of a few ways to look at it. You know, in one way, they're kind of overall betting on the ecosystem. They're basically saying that runes are going to be the winner here. Although Odin Fund is going to allow deposits for PRC20 and tap assets. And I think Bob said on our show, like he has like 20 different meta protocols that he's looking into to adding support for. On the other side of this, you could consider it as Taproot Wizards hedging their bet in case, you know, OpCat doesn't pass or it takes a lot longer than they expect. They can still dabble because essentially ICP would be a competitor to CatVM, essentially, because CatVM is like a L2, or you could call it like a more native Bitcoin L2 in that sense. But you know, overall, I think it's great. Spark some energy into it, add some more cohesiveness. I do think this is what Ordinals needs right now. There's been so much infighting over the last few months that everyone just needs to band together. And very selfishly, I think it just kind of adds another signature to the cross-chain kind of vision that we've been talking about. I know you guys have been talking about it literally since you started your show. Emblem's been in practice doing this for 9 years with that vision. And I think it's a great thing to happen overall. One other opinion I heard was that Udi may want to acqui-hire Bob if Odin Fund doesn't work out. So that's also kind of a potential way to look at it.
Interesting. That's an interesting one. But he does seem very calculated with every move he makes, right? I mean, you go back a month ago and he's just crapping all over runes. And then, you know, and he craps on the, you know, Bitcoin L2s all the time. I mean, this is kind of very similar to what they've been doing, you know, with Merlin and stuff like that. But do you think that it is calculated and like he knows what he's doing a month ago to set this up? Or do you think he just saw the adoption start to pick up and he's like, hey, you know, I got to admit that this is something to get into?
No, Udi's very calculated. He's been in the industry for a long time. He has a different type of sense of humor as well. He has Israeli humor. I grew up Jewish and was around Israelis and lived with Israelis my whole life, and they're all kind of the same strategists around it, and it's just like kind of trolly behavior. He's very intelligent though. I would never dismiss that. I think him and Eric Wall have like a good kind of 1-2 punch where Eric does a very good job at taking left curve ideas and explaining it in right curve kind of text, where you see this just like wall of text. And then Udi does a really good job at taking right curve ideas and explaining it to the left side of the curve. And so with that, they're able to kind of commandeer or be able to communicate with the majority of the industry overall. They've also been in the space for very long. I mean, literally just a few days ago, I was listening to one of the Taproot Wizard spaces that Udi was on, and he was shitting on wrapped assets, right? He was basically he was saying that when you bond your two quantum cats, you put on a tile fault, and he's like, it's not like this wrapped asset shit or anything like that. Or bridged. He's like, it's the native kind of thing. And he wants to spark controversy, but obviously this signature, of leading the round as well, leading the round in Odin Fun, just shows that a lot of things that he says is more for entertainment, but there is a larger strategy to it. And, they're going to raise what, $30 million potentially. I think 34 million is like the max cap. But if you have half of those being quantum cats, you get it down into the 10 or 20 million. And, personally, I think if you could raise it, go ahead. Is it extractive? It's not me to decide. I think it's for the market to decide. And if they do lower the mint price, then I guess that is a sign that they're listening to the market and that the market has told them that it's very extractive. But, they've been in this space for a long time. They have a very large vision. And honestly, I find a lot of stuff that Udi does pretty entertaining, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Do you think this investment is in Odin Fund, or do you think the investment is in Valhalla? Because we had Bob on the show, and I kind of got it out of him. I don't know if he was trying to say it, but he said it on the show, and he said that he's building this ICP kind of L2 that Odin's sitting on, because it's ICP tech stack, but it's kind of edited in ways to make it more of his own, and he's calling it Valhalla. Do you think Udi invested in Valhalla, or just this launchpad?
It's interesting you say that, because we also had Bob on our show this week as well. But stepping back from that, when you're doing like an equity investment, it's generally in what the parent company is. So it would probably be into Valhalla or whatever is the parent company that he's created.
I got you.
On the kind of extending on the thought, when we had Bob on, and it was a big space, I kind of point blank asked him, same thing that I brought up on this show. One of my concerns was that Odin Fund is not great for long-term builders, in a way that there's a giant bottleneck in terms of removing runes off of the platform. So for example, if I am a long-term builder and I deploy a rune on Odin Fund and then it bonds and has 600 holders, I now have to convince 600 holders to remove the assets from Odin Fund to go participate in something, which I saw Liquid Tokens has some sort of partnership with the staking vault. So we'll see, how that works out. But from my experience, you have a very low turnout rate whenever it comes to, bridging assets or removing them from a different type of ecosystem. And Bob just straight up said that he has no intention of, it basically said he doesn't care of that situation, and that his focus is keeping all of the runes inside of ICP so that they never actually leave. So he's just kind of said that point blank. So that just shows me that they're just going to have to build out all tooling on ICP for runes. They're going to have to build out a lending market. They're going to have to build out, staking. They're going to have to build out a DEX and everything, kind of under the sun, so that those runes have things to do. There's this kind of like philosophical question then of like, are you actually trading runes if they never leave ICP, right? I mean, the token's etched, but never actually leaves. And that's a philosophical question for people to answer themselves. But
runes, right? They're just ICP runes.
They're ICP runes, right? Yeah. and so he's kind of going at this in two ways, where he's not incentivizing. He's incentivizing people to stay. He doesn't want people to leave. He's made that very clear. And then now he's building a way for users to deposit runes into ICP so that it basically just kind of, consumes the entire runes market.
Yeah.
Is that something they could do? Very possible. If that's where Udi thinks that they're going to take that, then, they want kind of a piece of that action. For the long term of, Taproot Wizards, maybe they have maybe they don't even want runes, right? Maybe they're going to build their own catnip standard. And so this is basically them hedging their runes bet in case whatever their fungible token standard is doesn't work, in essence. But overall, there's more competition that's also popping up, right? Rune Shot was just announced from the Rune Mine guys. And then you also have Funky Bits on Arch. So I think this is really great for the overall runes and Bitcoin native asset ecosystem, because you're now going to have, you now have kind of 3 large competitors popping up, right? You have Near, or at least infrastructure providers. You have Near, you have ICP, and then you have Arch that's coming. And all of these are a form of chain abstraction, even Arches to a degree. And, you know, we're literally about to enter this next era of chain abstracted Bitcoin products or Bitcoin applications, which is, you know, is just more validation to something that all of us have been talking about for years already.
Yep. Well, I think you had a good point, but one thing I will say about like the point about Bob saying he wants to keep runes on the platform, but the one thing that I will say that I think we're all going to be a little bit surprised. Me, I don't know, because I kind of want this to happen, is the open door kind of situation, and you know, you already see people starting to test bridge, you know, take their runes out of ICP. You've seen it with Sparks token. You've seen it with Pep Odins. You've seen it with I think 1 or 2 more. So they're already starting to form these partnerships with like Fluid to allow staking to happen on Bitcoin layer 1. I think this is extremely healthy though, if you can have this swinging door right now. Yes, he might think initially, I want the liquidity to stay here, but if you have this swinging door to where you're like, okay, I can take it to Fluid and they can stake it there or whatever on Bitcoin layer 1, they're not going to want to trade it on Magic Eden. They're not going to want to do that, right? So once they're done with their staking, they're going to take it back over there. And for the runes that they also earn too, right? So now they're actually taking more liquidity back, in my opinion. And they're not going to trade in this layer 1 environment. No one wants to do that. That's going to go away, in my opinion. Actually, I think Magic Eden's going to lose a lot of that business.
Really,
Yeah.
you think you don't think
Eventually,
you don't think Magic Eden's kind of
well,
Chris on our team calls it wargaming it. You don't think that they've thought about a counter strategy to this?
So yes, so I think the old way of trading though, so that'll go away. I think that they've already started working on like a more seamless type of swapping or whatever. But look, this pain point has been around for a long time. I think they could have solved that a while ago. They're probably like, we're the only shop in town that does it like this, you know, and that people are going to come. If there's going to be runes volume, it's going to be us. So I do think that they do try to counter, but will it be kind of like how OKX took BRC20's business from Unisat? You know what I mean? Because like Unisat kind of just didn't like kind of threw their arms up and we're like, well, we're focused on Fractal now or whatever. You know, so I don't know how Magic Eden's going to respond, but I do think that, you know, if they see the value in it and in the volume, that they will develop some sort of seamless type of, but it's not going to be native. They're going to do the same thing that, you know, ICPs, they're going to leverage another tech stack to be able to handle the computation part and all that stuff, right? So my point that I'm making though is that like there's going to be open doors everywhere, like with Near protocol, with ICP, and the more popular ones that can build it up first. I think Bob has an advantage, and then EVM side, they'll have kind of like Merlin's the only one that's doing it over there right now. Excuse me. If they can kind of refocus on that, maybe capture a little bit of the different part of the market that wants to do EVM. But I think Bob and Odin has this advantage of being the first mover here with this pump fund that's popular and accepted.
No, I agree. The open door philosophy, I think, is the right direction. It then comes down to the builders of the ecosystem being cordial with each other and willing to build a better experience for the users. Unfortunately, although I am optimistic, a lot of builders that I've talked with in the space tend to get tribalistic around their liquidity, right? Which, excuse me, which then, you know, is kind of at the detriment of the user. But the Fluid partnership, I think, is a great start. The one thing I think to keep in mind there is to look at what I like to call the penetration rate. So from my experience with Emblem and historical NFTs, when you're getting an overall, you know, if you're trying to get like a giant percentage of a token, whether it's NFTs or fungible tokens, to move from one ecosystem to another, and it's on the users to do that. The highest penetration rate I've ever seen really is like around 80% or so, which was Mooncats. DGods actually got up to 90% when they moved from, I think, Solana to Polygon. But even when they moved from Polygon back to Sol, it was only 50%. even at Emblem, when we had Bitcoin punks being vaulted during the peak, that only got up to about 50%. And that's like with literally $5,000 on the other side, right? Kind of sitting there to trade. So I just think it's something that long-term builders should just be aware of, is that, users generally will not always do what you want to do unless there's an incentive on the other side. So partnerships are definitely something that can allow for that type of incentive. But you can see this kind of world in this chain abstracted application world for Bitcoin assets, where it's almost like Ethereum layer 2s, right? With interoperability, where you're taking the same asset and you're just moving it into these different kind of ecosystems. With Ethereum, it's L2s. With this will be applications itself. And if you can build a frictionless way to move in and out of these doors from Odin Fun on ICP to Rune Shot on Near to whatever is in Arch, right? Or to whatever Emblem builds, or, all these different ways. If you can make it frictionless, then the outcome will be much better than what you see with this kind of Ethereum interoperability issue that they have currently. There's probably a $1 million or $1 billion idea to be able to figure out what that way is to move in between all of these different applications for Bitcoin assets. Whether it's something like Omnity Network that I believe is trying to solve this, or whoever can build the plumbing, but probably a big opportunity there for a builder.
Yeah,
Well,
100%.
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so 100% too, and like I think Magic Eden's in a perfect spot because they just got to sit back, wait for technology like Arch to kind of show up, right? And I actually just got into this week. I was digging into Jam, which is a big upgrade from Polkadot, and what Jam's going to do, it's going to allow you to kind of jam everything together. It's called Join Accumulate Machine. It's kind of like a new EVM model. It's upgraded by Gavin Wood, the guy who created EVM, right, or the guy who created
Gavin Wood, the founder of Polkadot.
Yeah, former founder of Ethereum. He actually is creating Join Accumulate Machine, which is going to allow you to use basically a UTXO and account-based model like EVM or SVM, it doesn't matter. And that's going to allow you to kind of jam everything together to make one protocol, which is going to allow you to do things what Arch is doing without the restrictions of going from account-based model to a UTXO model, right? Now you're going to kind of go from UTXO to UTXO, which kind of makes it seamless. So we're going to see a lot more of these Arch type of products popping up. And that is a great opportunity for places like Magic Eden. All they got to do is put up an Arch thing right next to the Bitcoin thing, or put up, or for you guys too, right? For you guys to be able to kind of do your thing as well, which is going to allow you to kind of move from UTXO to UTXO easier. And then now if it's all jammed together, you're on an account-based model as well. And that's going to allow you guys to do everything you can do in the back end as well. I think it's going to open up a lot of different things, and no one's really talking about it.
It's interesting. I mean, just having this conversation, I don't know how you couldn't be more bullish on interoperability and cross-chain
100%.
and chain abstraction, right? AI will also help kind of push all of this through the door and make it a little bit more seamless. But for Bitcoin assets, I think it's just a fresh breath of air that the leaders of this market, Bob, Udi with Top Root Wizards, you could say us with Emblem, with Arch and Merlin and everyone, that people are finally starting to speak up and starting to partner with each other, because when the teams and developers are working together, it gives a very good signal to the holders of these different assets to participate in this network. When it's tribalistic and everyone's fighting, nobody knows where to go. Nobody wants to choose sides. But overall, insanely bullish. And I think this then breathes more life into the market and gives, it can give the market another 6 months to a year of fresh narratives to pursue, which then allows new VC funding to come in because there's a new narrative, right? There's new interest. So VC capital comes in, you get all these projects funded, people start trying to throw stuff at the wall to see what works. You get a few winners and you get new liquidity. The market becomes a little bit more efficient, and users can find wherever the value accrual is to make money, and you have this wealth effect, right? And then eventually then everything all fades again and you get this correction and you do the next thing all over again. But, that's kind of like what happens. That's exactly what happened with L2s, right? It was, you had ordinals kind of created, you had TAP and a few of these different meta protocols. And after about 6 months or 8 months of kind of just banging your head against the wall, people realized that you can't trade these on L1. So they went through the L2, right? Got all this tens of millions of dollars, went funding into the L2s, new interest, all this new people came. And I think we're literally just about to run the same thing back with chain abstracted applications here.
I agree 100%. You guys were right, you know, way ahead of your time. And we've been talking about this for 6 months, but like the thing is that if chain abstraction is going to be normalized, then I think the open door thing is going to happen. And
Has to.
Exactly. And I think it's going to be normalized. And I think this sets the narrative for Bitcoin ecosystem up so perfectly, because now we don't have to just think with this like tunnel vision of native Bitcoin layer 1 or nothing. You know what I mean? Now it's
please
like,
kill that. Please leave that in the past.
Yes, please. Please. I've been screaming, please. But you know, people have used that like as like a tool in their toolbox to protect their meta protocol and stuff like that, but no longer, because now other chains are coming on board to say, hey, we can service, do the computation, because basically what they end up doing anyways with these meta protocols is doing off-chain computation anyways. Yep. So it's like, why not just have a robust chain that is built for this to do it like 10 times better than what you just built in like a month, right? No offense to the builders, some of them, you know, did crazy stuff, but that's my whole point there. And you know, I'll end that rant on that, because I definitely want to dive into, you know, what you guys are building, because it's going to be a big part of, you know, chain abstraction and interoperability. And maybe we can start off with, you know, your latest updates on let's start off with the AI part, if you don't mind, because I think you guys are, you know, getting some groundbreaking stuff completed.
Yeah, so I actually brought some stuff with me here. So some sneak peeks, if you guys want to.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
I have an issue bringing it up.
Okay. There it is. It's because we gotta bring yours down first. Remember?
Yes, sir.
New upgrade from StreamYard.
I took some screenshots of what we have. We've also put some teasers out on the Agent Hustle Twitter account, which we'll go to. But we're probably, you know, a week away, maybe even less, from launching this finally. The DeFi AI category is heating up. There is a lot of interest. I actually just put a tweet out like a few minutes ago where the DeFi AI category was actually the hottest narrative on one of these like social recording websites and social sentiment tracking. So how I see it, there's like maybe 5 to 8 competitors in this DeFi AI space. And realistically, what it is to me, it's Telegram bot services on steroids, right? The Telegram bot industry generated 1.2 billion in revenue last year across about 11 to 15 different applications. This is taking the Telegram bot services industry and applying an AI to it and building it as a web interface and a Telegram bot interface. We do have a Telegram bot. We're going to be releasing that at a later date. We want to start with the web service first. And a few different teams are going about it on different chains and about it in different ways, but I think they're all kind of coalescing around the same idea. When I think a lot of these will look very similar, they're just slightly different implementations. So what we've built here is what I'm calling a monolithic AI DeFi AI terminal, or I guess you call it a monolithic DeFi AI terminal. What I mean by that is it's one AI agent for the entire platform that then interacts with these different mini apps on the left-hand side where you see like swap LP, pump rewards. We're starting off on Solana. You'll see some other applications like Banker that's really hot right now is on Base. You see things like Heyanon started on Ethereum, and Griffin is on Solana. And I think you have like Wayfinder from the Parallel team is coming out pretty soon. I would say us are like kind of like the 5 main ones. I see there are a few other ones as well. And what you can do is kind of 2 things. We've built ours in a different way from others because we're kind of using our crypto experience where we actually built the mini apps on the left-hand side here to where you can interact with them manually, or you can interact with them with the prompt interface on the right-hand side. All of the other ones that I've seen so far, you can only interact with the stuff through the LLM prompt. Like it doesn't even show you, for the most of them, It's just like a ChatGPT terminal. So you talk to the ChatGPT, to bridge and swap and stuff like that. But we felt that, if this is going to be an onboarding mechanism to, potentially new users, they need to be able to visualize and see what can be done rather than just kind of going to a terminal and knowing what you want to do. So we feel like a lot of those that were on the market were more catered towards advanced users, where, again, if you just show up to a ChatGPT terminal that has crypto integrations on the back end, you're going to need to know or have some sort of understanding and skill of what to even do. So we went about it in this different way. So on the left-hand side, what you see is a vault. This is actually using Lit protocol on the back end. It's actually using Emblem Vault technology. So this is actually a non-custodial vault here. And it has a Solana address. You'll see down on the bottom left-hand side, tokens, and then your LP positions, and then deposit and transfer. And so then all of these interactions on the left, you can do manually. So you can click there, or you can just talk to Agent Hustle on the right-hand side. So this is kind of what the swaps look like as well. Again, you can use the swaps here on the left-hand side manually. Sometimes users like to go, personally, as I've been testing it, I kind of go back and forth. I find myself using the manual one even a little bit more than I do on the right-hand side. Or sometimes I'll I'll choose a token to swap, and then on the prompt, I'll just sit there and talk with Hustle of just getting an explanation of different things, pulling market data from online, getting different types of information before I actually make the swap. So we feel like that's a little bit more friendly to the kind of average user who maybe isn't even familiar with Solana, but they do know Bitcoin. So that you can come here and talk with LM. And sometimes here, like for example, with LP, so we have concentrated in standard pools, and on the left-hand side, you could go ahead and deposit. But on the right, a lot of people have never even LP'd before. So you can kind of sit here and ask Agent Hustle different questions about what an LP is, how to LP, what are different types of strategies. And for a lot of users, this isn't even just in crypto, just in general, you don't like asking things in public. And this is why people have a fear of speaking in public, because you don't want to look dumb. So here, you can kind of maintain that privacy and just sit there and talk with the AI agent over and over and over, whatever question that you want. And then we also have a Pump Fun mini app as well. So I was newly created, about to graduate, and recently graduated. And this updates in real time. I've actually compared this to Photon, and they update at the exact same time. And so here there's a quick buy for all these different tokens. The newly created tab actually moves a lot faster because it's all newly created. But if you click the details button, then it'll put a prompt in the LLM terminal that Agent Hustle will give you a 4 to 5 sentence description of what the token is. And then the rewards is something you guys will have to see, as well as the directives as we kind of expand. One final thing here I'll show. This is something we put on. This is something we put on the Agent Hustle account. This is just the example of kind of how the swap works. I know it's a little bit kind of fuzzy on my screen, but it's simple, right? You sit there and say you want to swap, and then he gives you kind of the information, and you say yes, and then the transaction is there. And so as we start, we are going to have it to where he's going to give you a prompt, and then you actually have to confirm it. And the reason why we're doing that is because, oops, sorry, I hit stop. So you might have to put us back on screen.
Okay. Yep.
The reason why we did that is for safety reasons, where, this is, we're entering literally an unexplored area of the intersection of AI and crypto. And there's always a potential that, there could be an issue where he just buys the wrong token, right? Or your assets get dumped, or you put a prompt in and then the prompt was read differently, which then executed. So we're putting that safety mechanism in the beginning. And then after the following update, where we're going to be adding a lot more mini apps and also kind of Bitcoin and Ethereum as well, which we've started working on. We'll have something that's called degen mode, where you can turn that on and off for the users who just want kind of faster transactions. Although online, I have seen some horror stories of the AI interface, buying the wrong token right? Buying like an illiquid token, and then the bots on the other side just basically sell into that giant pump, and the person kind of loses all their money. So we do say to kind of really experiment. I would recommend starting with a lighter amount of SOL. You actually need to deposit 1 SOL to even use the platform, just to initiate the wallet. But you can remove it right afterwards as you like. And then we'll be expanding this to Bitcoin and Ethereum as well.
Do you think it's a good idea to force people to use the contract address, like him to say, or at least give me the last 6 digits or something, just to kind of help him until he gets stronger and better going forward? Because I personally, if I want to buy a token this way, I'm going to Dex Screener and grabbing the token contract.
Yep, I would recommend using the contract address. We've been kind of experimenting it to see to try kind of see what the outputs are. We could tell people as much as we want to use a contract address, but the majority of people are not going to put the contract address in, right? They're going to say buy bonk or buy whiff or buy whatever the token is. So we kind of came up with this way where he can then kind of list all the tokens that sound similar, and then you can kind of respond that way. We're still working to it. And one other thing I didn't know, but is not native to any other DeFi AI platform I've seen, is we are allowing you to upload images to it. And the reason why we added this is for a few reasons. One, for experimentation, but another one is you can feed him essentially contextual strategies. So if you go to like Masari, right, or if you go to even if you download like some sort of trading book or something like that, and you just keep feeding him pages of these different trading strategies, and you want him to trade for you or to kind of understand your philosophy much better, then you can just keep feeding him images, and then it'll understand a little bit more and make better decisions or better recommendations or better perspective on what the best decision is or the right decision. Hustle also has a memory, so the more conversations you have with him, he will remember everything that you've had. So once you tell him your name, it's assigned to that wallet address, and he'll remember your name and everything and so forth as you continue to use the platform.
So I can basically mold my hustle to the kind of the person that I want him to be in the way of trading, right? So I'm able to just take. So if I put in the contract address one time and just say, this is when I say bonk, this is the one. So potentially down the line, if I'm in and out of bonk, for instance, he already knows from his memory bank that I've talked about this one only. So I don't need to get the contract address every single time. I can just say, remember we talked about it earlier, the bonk that I sent you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a really smart strategy to do. Is to make sure that they kind of bank that. And there's literally like an infinite amount of strategies here and an infinite amount of possibilities. And we have users who still talk with Hustle literally for the last 2 months when it's just the AI kind of on the website. So we're interested to see kind of what these unique strategies are that people do with it. And the platform is very similar to all the other ones where you actually have to deposit the Solana into the address. And the reason why is that the AI agent essentially co-owns the wallet with you inside of agenthustle.ai. It's the same thing that you see with Griffin and Hanon and all these other ones. I think Bankery, I've tried where you can actually connect the wallet and he can make transactions for you. It didn't really work when I tried, but I have seen some people, I've seen some ones attempt to do that, but it is kind of a deposit mechanism. And it does seem like, as we talked about with like Bitcoin, abstracted applications, that they're all also deposit kind of scenarios, as well as things like the trading bots as well as a deposit. So same situation there. Just our vault is non-custodial because it does use lit protocol TE on the back end. So Emblem has no access, and it's actually a vault. So the vault, we haven't turned this on, but this is something we could experiment with in the future. That vault that's inside of agenthustle.ai can actually be minted if we wanted, and then you can sell all of the assets inside as an NFT. It's not turned on right now, but it is something that we could experiment with down the road.
Love it.
Yeah, I really like the fact that you guys did not just leave the LLM typical standard, because that would be horrible. And I think some products did do that, which to me I don't get. Like, so it's really good that you made it sleek and easy to onboard, because that's the whole point, right? Is to be able to onboard here. So Awesome. I don't want to put you on like any like hard timeline or anything, but let's just say, what would be a fair, I guess, time frame of where like anybody could start utilizing this?
I would say hopefully next week really is the goal here. The last steps that we have is our app. We've kind of two devs that are working on it. We have Shannon, who's working on the AI agent and improving the AI. That's really where his expertise is. And then we have another dev who's building out the mini apps. And then there's this thing of integration where then you take the agent and the mini apps and you connect them, right? So that they can interact with one another. We're just right now, he's working on the LP and pump fund, and then it's done. And then we'll be ready to release it. There will be I guess I'm just going to spill some of the beans here. There will be like a countdown ticker we're going to put on the website for maybe like 3 days or so, which will have a password protected. And we're going to share the website with our affiliates, partners, whales, admins, and specific people to kind of go through the experience for 3-4 days while it's being tested publicly, or you could call it like a beta, and share the information, and then hopefully should be public. Our developer said he's going to work on the weekend to get this done. Our goal is to get it out literally as soon as possible because there is some momentum. The Tensor token is almost up 3x from the bottom. I mean, granted, it literally dropped to 600K. It was at like 1.7 million, I think, before the show started. And people are really excited about the V2 kind of aspect. I think also too, relative to the rest of the top DeFi AI applications, it's like, the other ones are all 20x or 30x higher than it. And I think if it shows that it can be competitive and maybe even better in some aspects, right? You would expect, or at least the market would evaluate that, this is undervalued and maybe it catches up in some instance. And we have started talking with different partners. I have started talking with like Ghosty Cash potentially about being the cross-chain swap mechanism. We did talk with Bob on our show about integrating Odin Fund on the Bitcoin side of things.
Nice.
And so, maybe this is the door, the revolving door, Yago that we talked about, where maybe AI is this door between all of these kind of Bitcoin applications that does it for the user. And so that, the user doesn't have to really do it. I put a tweet out earlier that AI plus chain abstraction plus interoperability, to me is what the next cycle is going to be about, which I've been calling the intelligence cycle. And it's never been more clear that to me, it's inevitable. That's where it's going to be. Bitcoin is moving into this chain abstracted application world. On the other side, you have Ethereum that's really kind of hammering down on figuring out the interoperability situation. And then on Base and Solana, you have AI, right? And so you take all those and combine it, and it's just going to create this like frictionless liquidity environment across all these ecosystems. And, hopefully just finally put the nail in the coffin for chain tribalism, I think is also what AI is going to do.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. AI is not going anywhere. It's only going to be advanced more and more in the future. Whatever technology has been thrown at it or integrated. And right now, we're lucky because crypto is integrated with AI. And in the far future, quantum computers will be as well. But let's let that time come, right? Because we don't need another headache about that whole situation. But yeah, so there's a couple other things that you guys had for updates. One of the biggest events that's happening for you right now is being able to be this chain abstraction layer, being able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin layer 1 to Merlin to abstract to base, all that stuff. What does that look like in terms of the vaulting process? Where are you guys at with that?
Yeah. So our team this morning is working on our bulk minting tool. So you can mint, I think, up to like 30 or 40 vaults in a single transaction. So we should be also testing that on the weekend. That's very important. That decreases a lot of the friction from all these vaults that have been minted one by one. We actually deployed to Base and we've deployed to Merlin. We just finished our audit on Monday. So we will be throwing that audit out when we reveal that we're on Base. We're going to launch on Base first. We've launched kind of the 5 main collections that'll be on every chain we go to, which is our popular collections already: Rare Pepe, Fake Rare, Spells Genesis, M-Bells, and our open collection, so that you can vault kind of any asset. And then from there, based on the chain, we'll be deploying whatever it needs. So like the wants and needs of base is different from the wants and needs of Merlin, which is different from the wants and needs of abstract, and so on and so forth. So with base, we're going to be launching with 2 different ETH-scription collections called Peepers and MF Pers, which is by Virtual Alaska. I don't know if you know about ETH-scription's protocol, but it kind of like is, died essentially. Well, the founders have started working on an L2, or their own L0, I think is what they call it. And so the community stuck around, but they want to trade on base. So we're going to help them move over. It'll be a very good case study to see kind of how it works. And then from base, we want to also deploy all of the different ETH collections as well. I think we're working on building an NFT application on base that we're looking into, that maybe can help kind of improve some of that stuff. And then we're going to go to Merlin second, and we're going to deploy pretty much all the Bitcoin collections, all the popular ones, get those vaulted over. And I know there's a few different builders who are working on different things over on Merlin that are very interested in stamps, ordinals, Rare Pepe, right, counterparty, just basically kind of the whole charade. And after that, we kind of have this, we're going to deploy to Arbitrum because we're in their grant program. But after that, I think we're going to probably look to Solana potentially. And it could be a few week build, and getting ordinals over on Solana as kind of a trading experience, because the ordinals or the Bitcoin and Solana ecosystem seem to have grown quite cohesively together. Whereas Ethereum's kind of like the between a rock and a hard place. But the Solana Bitcoin barbell has worked really well. We'll see if users want it. Users have said they want ordinals on Solana, but we'll have to see with their actions.
Yeah, man, 100%. And I do love that you guys are going to Maryland too, because it kind of, a lot of people, and talk to them, they don't really trust, these chains, right? But with you guys are doing it non-custodian. So you guys aren't holding my asset. Like when I do it Maryland, technically they're holding my asset, right? When I'm bridging over there. But with you guys, it's doing full non-custodian. There's no one actually holding my asset. I actually have a wallet that's locked up. For anyone new watching, could you just explain that process?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To take it, I guess to say it as the most simplistic way, when you're minting a vault, what you're doing is you're sending an asset inside of a vault, which is a wallet inside of an NFT. So a vault equals a tokenized wallet, crypto wallet. And so if I'm taking a Bitcoin, if I'm taking an ordinal, if I'm taking a Pizza Ninja, and I want to vault it on Merlin chain, what I'm doing is I'm sending a Pizza Ninja into a Bitcoin wallet that's associated with a Merlin ERC-721. And so when you mint it, then the private key that's inside of that wallet is then minted, and a piece of that key shard is then attached to that NFT. And then the other pieces of this key shard is then distributed in what's called a lit protocol TEE system. And so what this basically means is that whoever owns the NFT holds the final key to the underlying asset. If I put it into real terms, it would be like taking your car keys and putting it in a box and shipping it to Europe. Your car is still in, America. I'm in America. So your car is still sitting in front of your house in America, but the keys are over in Europe, right? So in order to you still own, like the car never left America. So it's still native, but the only way to claim it, right? The only way to start the car is to have those keys, but the keys are being used in Europe to be leveraged against, right? Or you're taking the car keys and you go taking a loan out it because you're saying, hey, this is the actual ownership of the car. It's not the physical car, but you can't move the car without these keys. And that's essentially kind of the same situation that we're doing here.
I love that. I love that analogy because like it's perfect. You're right. Because I can be like, this is the only keys that ever exist. You can't go start the car without this. So you can technically, take a loan out on the car because technically you have the car. So it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, that's kind of how we view this kind of like emerging cross-chain world is blockchains are countries, L2s and applications are the states and cities, fungible tokens are the fiat currencies, and then NFTs are the different types of items. And so in order to move these items, from one country to another, you have things like wrapped assets, bridges, and vaults. And so we do it in our own way. There is no other vaulting protocol. So we essentially created this version and it works really well with NFTs, whereas the other two work really well with fungible tokens. There could be a crossover and there are trade-offs, right? Where if you do a bridge, if you try to take an NFT through a bridge or a wrapped asset, there's more centralization. Whereas if you try to do fungible tokens through Emblem, there's a little bit more friction and a little bit more steps in order to kind of do that. So there are the trade-offs, but Emblem works really well with NFTs in this situation. And it's the only NFT bridge, if that's where you want to classify it. It's the only NFT bridge that works with Bitcoin assets in a non-custodial way. And so once we have our jump tool, which is this ability, if I vaulted that Pizza Ninja on Merlin, and then all of a sudden Stacks has this offering where you can stake your Pizza Ninja to get whatever token it is in this new protocol, you can basically just click jump. And in one transaction, it'll move the asset over from Merlin to Stacks and literally just a gas transaction. So it's pretty instantaneously. And that's because you're literally just taking the private keys and you're moving it from Europe to Asia. And instead of having to go through this optimistic thing. And really what you're doing is you're just taking the key shard and you're detaching it from a Merlin NFT and you're attaching it to a Stacks NFT. So there's no optimistic roll-up wait period like you see with some of these other ones where you literally have to wait for this kind of like this. I think they call it like a tampering period or something like that.
The blocks with Merlin are super quick. So you're telling me within like 30 seconds I can have my asset on the chain, or how long would that take?
Yeah, literally, it's like it should be just as fast as a block. I guess as fast as it runs through the lit protocol TE system. So because it goes through that, the transactions are maybe like 20 or 30% slower. But so, you could have it in like a minute or so.
That's insane. That's crazy, because that's opportunity. That's what that's going to do. That's going to start up a whole new arbitrage opportunities for multiple different chains. Like, let's just say you're getting 0.5 for a no monkey over here, and you can go buy one for 0.4, like vault it, or it's already vaulted, so you're just jumping it, and then you're listing it there. And if this really takes all these chains, because you can't even do that on like with the tokens. Like I did ETH to base, and it took me like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, right? So it's just like you guys are. Potentially could be a faster way if you can get someone to buy it real quickly. Faster way to get liquidity from chain to chain.
Yeah, really. So if you take like the whole conversation with like Agent Hustle and then what Emblem is, to me, Emblem is like it's essentially like the Amazon of crypto, or at least it can be. It's you're taking an NFT, right? You're taking a vault, which is an NFT, and you're putting digital assets inside of it, whether it's NFTs, ordinals, fungible tokens, whatever. And you're just shipping it from one blockchain to another. It's the same thing that Amazon does. It takes a package, right, which is a non-fungible asset, and you put non-fungible assets inside of it. You could put money inside of it, and you ship it from one house to another, right? It's essentially kind of the same idea here. And when you look at the broader kind of interoperability space, when somebody's moving a fungible token from one chain to another, there's like 50 to 100 different bridges that they use. There's a few who consume a lot of the activity, but when you're moving NFT from one spot to another, there's literally just Emblem. There's literally no other NFT bridges that are trying to go at it at the scale that we're doing, and also allows for any type of digital asset, and it can work on any type of network, because the other NFT bridges, when they're using layer 0 or wormhole, your limitation is the virtual machine, right, for smart contracts. Whereas when you're using Emblem, the limitation is wallet and token infrastructure, because that's what a vault is. It's just a tokenized wallet. And so every blockchain, every L2 has application, right? They all have tokens and they all have private public key wallets. Whereas something like Bitcoin and Dogecoin and in Litecoin, they don't have smart contracts. So that's why those things like layer 0 can't go over there. Although, they could be working on something like that. for a solution. And we actually we have a pretty strong partnership with Layer 0. We may use them in the future for decentralizing certain aspects of Emblem. But it's just kind of understanding the differences and kind of, so the whole point of this is when you have AI, who is going to basically usher in this new era of interoperability and cross-chain and chain abstraction, we're going to eventually build Emblem Vault into Agent Hustle or vice versa, where you could just ask Hustle. So as the infrastructure grows, and let's say we'll use Bitcoin puppets, for example. We have a Bitcoin puppets collection deployed on every single chain in this example, right? Or like maybe the 15 main ones. You could just ask Agent Hustle which chain has the highest bid of a Bitcoin puppet, right? Whether it's on Bitcoin, whether it's on Base, or it's on Blast, or it's on Solana. And he'll tell you the highest bid for Bitcoin puppets on Solana. And then he'll say, would you like me to vault and accept the bid? And you just say, yeah. And so then he just takes your Bitcoin puppet and he vaults in, accepts the bid. And so then you can do other types of trading strategies where if you have, we'll use a quantum cat. So if you have 5 quantum cats, you can say, hey, list my 5 quantum cats at 0.2 Bitcoin. But once that Bitcoin is, or once one bid is accepted, delist all of them and relist them at 10% higher than what the floor is, or something like that. And you can do this, what's called conditional based trading, which is what we're working on. I think this is conditional based trading, I believe, is kind of the holy grail to everything. Shannon has built it. It's like partly done. It's called State Machines. I was actually tweeting about this the other day. The only other team I've seen really even consider something like this is Hayanon. The founder was talking about conditional based trading as well. So we're going to be using State Machines and AI together. State Machines is a little bit of like an older technology. But essentially it's State Machines are used in gaming really hard. And that's kind of Shannon's background. And so with conditional based trading, this is where you can get really crazy and do things like, hey, you could do on-chain things like take my Bitcoin puppet and list it at 0.2 Bitcoin. But if the other ordinal collections pump 50%, then delist it and relist it 50% higher than wherever the floors are of these. And you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. You could even do off-chain conditional based trading. Like if the weather in Vegas is 75 degrees, then sell my Bitcoin puppet, right? Or something like that, right? You can
That's
do
crazy.
you can do all kinds. Yeah, right. Next full moon. So you could right, and you can start tying things to like news events as well, where it's like,
oh, okay.
Hey, if Elon Musk tweets about Doge, then list my Doginals.
That could be
or something
huge.
like that, right? So you
I
can
love
start doing
that, dude.
So you can start doing really crazy stuff like that. And that's really kind of where we're striving to work towards, is to have this conditional based trading I guess you call it conditional based DeFi AI terminal that works on pretty much every chain. And then Emblem Vault is essentially the infrastructure to move these NFTs across all these different chains.
Love it, man.
Man, you guys are doing so much, dude.
It's a lot, dude.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And we're coming up on that Emblem hour. But one thing I want to give you a couple minutes to talk about real quick is most projects that are building want to get back to their community, and you guys are doing something really cool in terms of like a loyalty type of point system. If you can maybe talk about that for a few minutes before we end things up for the hour.
Yeah, it's a good thing to bring up. So our vaulting program, when we did our initial announcement in December about the launch of Keys, which is the Emblem underlying token, we announced that we were going to launch a point system at the end of March, which is being built. It may extend into April, depending on how Base and Merlin launches go. And users will be able to earn points, which will pay them out in Keys, which is a rune, which it should last from March or April to about November, December time. So it'd be about an 8-month program. And this will be everything from using Agent Hustle in the terminal to minting Bitcoin puppets on Merlin to participating in anything else that we really have. Originally we were going to have points for trading on emblem markets, but the market doesn't seem like they like that anymore. So we're actually going to sunset that idea. So it'll be just like minting and unvaulting and moving assets cross chain between all of our different chains that we exist on, as well as using Agent Hustle and everything else that may come. So look for that announcement. It'll be really exciting. And then, you know, the emblem TG or the emblem vault keys TGE, which is rune number 5078, I believe. The first part of the TGE starts in September, which is a founder vault, which you can actually buy right now for half an ETH. So if you want to purchase the future of emblem, then go to our founder vault collection. And you just type founder vaults on OpenSea, and you can see them there. Each vault holds 0.02% of the total key supply, and that TGE will happen in September. And then all of our other programs TGEs will happen essentially, or distribution will happen from September to December. So the goal is to have 73% of the supply of keys will be distributed by the end of the year. The other percentage, see, there's some slow, it's been slow volume. I suspect it'll pick up, but we have sold 30% of these privately as well. We sold 10% of the founder vaults on Echo, actually, which was a pretty cool experience, which is starting to catch a lot of attention. And then privately to a bunch of people. So this is essentially the equivalent of what you would see as like a private sale. So when companies are doing TGE and you see that pie graph and it says private sale 20%, we took that idea and we just basically tokenized it and put it on chain. So you can actually go ahead and buy these on chain, or you could just talk to us publicly if you want, or privately if you want to acquire a lot and stay more anonymous, or kind of whatever the case is. So a lot of things really coming together, and we're going to pair it all together with the vaulting program. And then at the end of the year, when we do TGE, Emblem 2.0 and keys will be used to hopefully stake to earn revenue share within, you know, Agent Hustle and the Emblem vaulting network. So that'll be the goal. You know, if you think this could be something like an Amazon where there's just packages being moved around consistently, and Agent Hustle, you know, can put up a lot of volume, you know, potentially something like what the Telegram bot business does. Like Photon, I think, made 200 million last year or something like that. So if you think this can compete, you know, you stake your keys and you can get a share of that revenue, as well as help to decentralize the network overall. So really exciting times ahead.
Amazing. The
Love
Amazon of NFTs. Love it, Jake. Thank you so much. We really enjoy Emblem Hour. I learned a lot, and it's just great to talk to you, and looking forward to the next Emblem Hour.
Yeah, man. Dude, you guys have grown so much. Congrats on the rebrand as well. It's worked out really well. Timed really well, honestly, with the chain abstraction kind of evolution happening. So we're all growing and having a good time. Market's picking back up, so maybe we'll see a little bit of life, dude. But have a good Friday, and everyone else who's listened, reach out to me anytime at JakeAllen _ on Twitter.
Awesome. All right, man. We will talk to you soon.
See you guys.
See you, Jake. Absolutely awesome as always. Really enjoy the Emblem Hour. But guys, that's our show. 2.5 hours for you guys. Really hope you guys enjoyed it, and have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. But on that note, let's get out of here.
Yep. Let's do it. Appreciate all 353 of you guys hanging out with us on a Friday evening, or afternoon, I should say.
Feels like
early
evening.
afternoon. Yeah, it kind of does a little bit. Yeah. The weekend has been up and down, right? But if you wouldn't mind checking out our partners, greatly appreciate it. It would definitely support us. Emblem Vault is the interoperability tool we just talked about. Everything that they're bringing to the market, so super bullish on that. You're going to be able to use Agent Hustle to vault and jump your ordinals from Bitcoin to multiple different chains like Merlin and Base and etc. And then also don't forget about their TGE rune in September. It's going to be a big deal. They're going to be branded with this chain abstraction approach. So you can learn about all this at emblem.vision. And BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. They just added the 10-minute markets. It's live right now. You could go to betbtc.win and start placing bets. If you think Bitcoin, BNB, Solana is going to be up or down within 10 minutes, you can do that, and you'll get paid out right away. So super exciting stuff there. Don't forget, they're going to create your own markets very, very soon, which you can earn 1.5% of the total volume that you create there. So visit betbtc.win to learn more. And then Artura Finance is the leverage and perps DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to be launching very soon on Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2. But right now you can test out their platform as they are on testnet with Botonics. And if you just make one trade, you get entered into a raffle that if you win that raffle, you'll be able to receive some of their TGE in the future. You're going to be able to trade for synthetic runes, Ordi, stats, stuff like that, as well as popularized tokens outside of the ecosystem. You can learn more at artura.finance. And Fluid Tokens, we were talking about them earlier. These guys are crushing it. They're about to onboard a bunch of new partners in terms of staking vault. So stay tuned to that because you might be holding an asset that you can earn on. They're also building the interoperability between Cardano and Bitcoin. These guys are going to be doing huge things, and there's going to be an announcement, I believe, next week, a couple of announcements. So stay tuned to that. But you can learn more about how to create a staking vault and how to stake on their website at fluidtokens.com. And Merlin Chain is your #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you are a builder on Bitcoin Layer 1 and you want your protocol to be a bit more seamless and quick, you can apply for a Merlin Chain Builders Grant. A couple of our partners got into that program, so it's definitely possible. And if you're a retail user and you want to swap for a dog, go to the moon, you can do so at merlinswap.org as they have a strong liquidity pool there. Also, they have their proof of stake that secures Merlin Chain right now. So you can earn up to 15% of your Merlin tokens if you stake them. And they're going to be adding a Bitcoin very soon to that to secure the chain. So super exciting stuff. You can learn all about that at merlinchain.io. And don't forget about our integrated partners in Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, as well as their first-person shooter game called Clan Wars that we're going to start streaming again this coming Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So get ready for that. And Ordinal Hive is your aggregator Ordinal marketplace on Bitcoin Layer 1 and Layer 2. Cheapest Ordinals around are going to be on Ordinal Hive. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man, as always. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just joining the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and caught up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, we have the best VPN, and it is 70% off if you use our link here. And that'll get you guys access to a lot more than just the VPN. I was actually looking at it yesterday. They have some really cool features that I haven't even really used. But there is free VPNs out there, but I highly recommend paying the $3 a month to get Nord. It's the best. So definitely check out what Nord brings to the table. It's my personal best, right? So definitely check out that. If you think that you're going to Bitcoin Las Vegas, do not wait till May to get your tickets. That is stupid. Get them as soon as possible. They will go up in April. They will go up every Friday. So if you're interested in going, definitely hit our link here. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And you guys can be there when it all happens. Hopefully, we'll be at our all-time high. I think we will, but we'll find out. If you guys need merch for that event or any event, you can check out our store tab here. That'll take you to our Shopify, and that'll kind of give you guys access to every single thing that we put up there. And if you guys want us to add any type of shirts, hats, hoodies, school bags, anything. Hey, you guys, we want more frogs on there. Or can you use my image of my frog? Reach out to us. We can add it for you. Simple, easy, all done through a third party. So definitely check out everything here at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And on that note,
peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.